Cup USA, featuring racing from coast to coast. Fast, friendly, and fun. Come join us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
High-end floors for high-end lifestyles. At TSG 5-Star, we connect the most respected hardwood, laminate, and vinyl flooring brands with the designers as showrooms who create unforgettable spaces. TSG 5-Star, your source for premium flooring and exceptional service.
Every great race starts with preparation. Every great plan starts with purpose. Daisa Alvarez, financial representative, proud sponsor of Nicholas Bazzani.
Four drivers, 12 turns, one goal. This is Power Drive Vegas.
Welcome back to ROK Vegas. DJ Clark and Rob Houghton joining you up here in the booth. Jackson Lambro is going to be our man on the ground, getting us some stories for a fantastic afternoon of racing action. We've got heat number 4 and pre-finals for everybody on the grid. And then, of course, ending the day with the all-important last chance qualifiers for ROK VLR Junior and Senior. This is where the stakes come to play here, Rob. This is where it all gets important.
It's almost like every race is just as big as the other one, but you think as you start getting into the round number 4 of the heats, maybe there's a little more pressure on, right? Some drivers have had some trouble. They need to come back in a big way. Others have got a good run, like Leonardo Serravalle, who looks really strong in this GP Junior category. It's ready to roll on track. Everybody rolling into these 4th heat races. It's very crucial to get out of here cleanly. Points are crucial. And, of course, those pre-finals, as we know, folks, 30 drivers going straight in the VLR Junior and Senior. Those LCQs to cap off the day are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, those top 10, that's what we're going to be looking for in those LCQs to make it into the final tomorrow. We'll bring you that schedule a little bit later on, but let's walk you through the schedule for what's going to be happening later on today. We're going to start things off with the ROK GP Junior, then over into ROK Mini, ROK Shifter Pro, then we head to the VLR Masters and Super Masters category. Then it's those first of the 2 pre-finals, starting with the VLR Juniors, then the VLR Seniors, then we'll head into ROK Micro, Shifter Masters, and Super Masters, then the LCQs, and then to cap off the day, that's going to be the SV Pro category. Put all 40, 50 odd carts on the track and have some fun with that.
We saw some great racing in the SV Pro class. Drivers, again, remember, different motor than they had yesterday, so they've been able to get things dialed in carburation-wise. We saw a great run out of Jake Drew. I talked to Caden McQueen, who tapped the wall, actually, on that aborted pass when Drew was able to do the over-under on him. He almost got into the wall himself. It is so close. These guys are pushing to the absolute edge, wanting to try to start up front. in SV Pro. But it is time again. We've got round 4 heat races to come. You got to make sure you get that low point total, the best result you can possibly get to line things up for Saturday's or Sunday's main events.
And as you can see, carts are out on track for our first race of the afternoon, ROK GP Junior. It's going to be Eric Doan leading things off, Eli Steinbrook to his outside, Cole Medeiros and John McClellan. This is going to be interesting to see just how this is going to shake out and what it's going to be doing. Doan really impressed us pretty much in that opening session this morning. Really putting some good moves on. Going to try to get his way up through the field. Also got to keep an eye on Travis Pettit and Edward Kennedy. Those are 2 names starting a little bit farther down. I expect some good speed from.
I thought we were going to have Saravalli. This is the junior GP Junior, correct? I'm not sure if we had the right lineup here for us. We'll have a look when they come back around. I thought that Saravalli was going to be on the pole, but let's have a look when they come back around. Those drivers lining things up, coming on the front straightaway here to get things rolling for the final heat race for ROK GP Junior. Leonardo Saravalli qualifying on pole in both of the junior categories, so we'll let them dial themselves in here. I thought we were going to see Saravalli and Malkit on the front row here, but indeed, here come the drivers up to the front. Yeah, I think it is Saravalli on the inside, yeah. Malkit on the outside. There'll be Theo Salameo on the inside of row 2, Royce Vega on the outside. So, indeed, underway, getting things rolling right now. I got the lineup for us. So, indeed, into turn number 1 for the first time. Can Saravalli keep the train rolling? He'll defend a bit to the inside of turn number 5. A couple of drivers with some over-unders there. Otherwise, pretty good now into turn number 6 and then turn number 7 as they'll work their way over to turn number 8 on the opening circuit. Saravalli defensive to the inside of turn 8.
Yeah, Malkit really trying to get that attack going. Salameo in the 275, that's Samut actually been able to get a really good start and move his way forward. Defensive lines there for Saravalli, trying to be able to hold off the best he can. I think he knows the attack that's coming here from Malkit, and he needs to try to head it off at the pass.
I think you're right, DJ. Listen, do whatever you can to hold off to the lead from the get-go. See if you can't get some more guys up into the middle of the fight. Indeed, they are. You've got that driver right up in there now. Theo Salameo jumping up into the second spot. Samut, as DJ said, a fantastic start on the opening circuit, moving Isaac Malkit from the front row to the outside, all the way down into 4th to start lap number 2.
And that's what we've seen a couple of times, that outside row at a real disadvantage. Big move from Salameo down into the inside. Samut going to try to follow him on through. That's 1-2 on through. Now the 270 of Malkit looking to pick up a little bit of the pieces. He's not going to be able to get it done. Weaving and bobbing down the back straightaway. Everything firing off here in the opening minute and a half.
Let's just drop the gloves on this one here. This feels to me like it's going to be what the start of the main event on Sunday is going to be like, a little frenetic action as everybody being super aggressive. You saw Salameo, the most aggressive driver out of the gate, going into 3rd, going into 2nd, and a great move to the inside. Here comes Marco Samut in the BJRLN cart booking. Marco Samut to P1.
And I think what's crucial there is Saravalli was able to get that move to the inside, take 2nd away. That prevented Salameo from being able to get that crossover down into that corner. That is a huge, huge move, and now Saravalli is going to have to kind of re-rack, restack, and try this all over again.
Sarah Bradley, a quick look over her shoulder. She runs P5, a little bit of a break between her and then that next group. Another probably 5 drivers. Tristan Murphy, John McClellan, Eli Steinbrook, Eric Doan, Edward Kennedy, I think all there. Then about a second back to the purple, white, and blue machine, purple, white, and pink machine, actually, of Travis Pettit back in 11th. Otherwise, Marco Samut, for the first time here this weekend, leads the way in ROK GP Junior. He's up front now as they come through that turn 6 and turn 7 combination.
Yeah, Samut taking a little bit of a defensive look, leaving the door very wide open for Saravalli. Kind of surprised he didn't take it, but look at the speed, look at the gap he was able to get coming down into turn 10.
And this is, again, what we talk about, right? When you are trying to attack in the front, when you've got the guy behind you, you kind of got to split your focus. You'd love to be able to give 100% on trying the overtake, but if you make that wrong move, you can find yourself going back a couple of spots, not just one. I think that's the key thing here. You can get freight trained pretty easily here. If you get hung out to dry, everybody comes through on you. If they get to the inside of turn 5 where they're coming up here right now, you're just done. There's no way you can get through there. So again, sometimes it's smarter, I think, to take the second, hold the spot, and even if the opening comes, to throw the cart in there.
Defensive again from Samet, just making sure that he's not going to get a little sneaky move done under the turn, up into turn 8. Now defensive line there. Saravalli going to follow him through on that. They're going to hold on to 1 and 2. Malkit, the one going back to the traditional racing line into turn 10 as they swing through turn 13. Let's see. Keep your eye here on Isaac Malkit. We've seen him be aggressive earlier on. Again, defensive, and Saravalli not trying to run an alternate line. He is just sticking close behind Samet here, following in the wheel tracks.
Yeah, we're either seeing defensive or semi-defensive lines in the corner for Marco Samet. What this is doing, it's not allowing the field to, as it normally does in the race, start to stretch out, right? The haves and have-nots in terms of speed. The slower drivers will back up a little bit. If you let the first couple of laps roll, you'll usually have that separation happening, whether it's a group of 3, 4, 5 up front. Look how many drivers are essentially on the back straightaway still, only because we are low lining in a lot of the corners right now. Nobody really given an opportunity to run that wide racing line. Everybody stuck together, and every time you run a defensive line, everybody stacks back up. There's at least 15 drivers, 20 drivers almost within, maybe 2-3 seconds coming across the line. As we see, 4 seconds separate the top 18 across the line.
That's what you love to see from a karting exhibition, but Samet now has a little bit of breathing room following those moves from Saravalli, and now Malkit could be the one trying to attack, but also keep your eye on Salameo. There it is, down into turn 8, gets the move done.
Yeah, throws it to the inside of Malkit down into turn number 8. And again, move Malkit back to third. Salameo again back up into second. Saravalli was able to get himself up into the second spot as well. He's the challenger now on Marco Samet, but we'll see what kind of lead Samet gets. The driver out of the northeast, pushing hard here. He's further back. More guys running the defensive line down the inside coming into turn number 1. So everybody, again, like I said, DJ, coming in here with a different position. If you've had a bad run, you might get super aggressive. If you're kind of in the middle, you may be more conservative. So that's why we're seeing some of the guys, I think, be super aggressive trying to work their way forward.
Very defensive line there for Samet checking back in here. This is Malkit, Bradley, and Murphy. This is the battle for P4. Oh, big move defensively down to the inside. Could this be a little bit of a position of a seal for Saravalli? And I think it is. Saravalli able to get the move.
Yeah, nice job there for Leonardo. Marco did defend mid-track coming out of turn number 9, going into 10. Big move to the bottom here for Saravalli as well. I'm telling you, they keep defending like that. We're still 216, 215 away from even getting the 2 to go sign. The more they defend, the more they're going to allow that next group of Malkit, Murphy, Bailey, and McClellan to come on in.
And I have to imagine if you're the likes of Salameo or Samet, the last thing you want to see is Isaac Malkit getting closer, as they're side by side between Salameo and Samet, and I think that's the 251 of Salameo able to get that pass done.
Yeah, Theo moving his way into P2. He'll put the target on the back of Saravalli, and he came out of the gate so strongly, qualifying as the top driver in both of the junior categories, the GP category and the VLR Junior class, but Saravalli has been strong. Quick move to the bottom there at the kink of turn number 1, rolling it back through 1 and turn number 2. And then, of course, into the 3-4 combination. Out of turn number 5, those 3 drivers up front, still with a lot of room as they rocket their way over to turn 6 and 7.
And crucial here, Tristan Murphy, Sarah Bradley, able to get by Isaac Malkit, so good running there for them. Very defensive, almost squiggly lines for Salameo and Saravalli coming into turn 8. Very much looking in the rear view, as it were, trying to be able to get that line, but Saravalli knows how to defend from the lead. As you mentioned earlier, Rob, this is where Saravalli has been through the majority of these heat races, and this is a position that Leonardo is very familiar with.
Always, used to seeing a purple lap come somewhere within maybe the top 5. No, at one point we had to go all the way down to Cole Medeiros, who's driving down there in the 20th position. Tristan Murphy just took it away, but the lap before was Cole Medeiros down in 20th. He is up to, he is down a bunch. Started 10th, fell down to 20th. So Medeiros trying to work his way back forward.
And now that trailing group of Murphy and Bradley have caught up to the leading 3 of Saravalli, Salameo, and Samet. So it is now a 5-car breakaway. A little bit of a gap back to Eli Steinbrook. Malkit has fallen back down to P7 as things stand. Close run here for Salameo. Loses a little bit of time coming through turn 13. This could be a run here for Samet if he decides to poke to the inside. That's what he's going to think about, but has to bail.
And look, he missed the apex coming back across a little bit there. So down they come to turn number 5. And again, Theo Salameo has been the driver to really kind of watch here now. He's been really in the middle of the fight, kind of the disruptor, if you will, trying to shake things up. He was able to get by Samet, but now trying to see if he can't find a way by Saravalli. Great aggressive efforts as well. for Tristan Murphy in the 2:11. Fastest driver on the racetrack on lap 11, a 41.452. Over 3/10 quicker than the leader on that lap, DJ. So let's keep an eye out for Tristan Murphy. He's got to get by Marco Sam at first, but he seems to have a pretty fast hot rod.
Yeah, and he sent the car up into the inside of turns 10 and 11. Move Murphy now up into that third place position. Samet down to fourth. This is huge for him. He's going to have to try to push ahead and see if he can close that gap, because Murphy not only has the speed, he's got the tenacity and the ability to overtake. If he can catch up in these final 2 laps, this could spell problems for Salameo or Serravalle.
11 races for you here in the afternoon. 7 round 4 heat races, 2 pre-finals, 2 LCQs, and there you go. A driver has gone off. Is that the 222?
That's a 225. That's Eli Steinbrook.
Oh, Eli Steinbrook from the top 10. He's not going to like that at all. Will fall down the order from 7th position. White flag flying. This is going to come down to 2 drivers, DJ. It's going to be Serravalle and Salameo. Let's see if Theo has anything for Leonardo.
Let's see if he does. Doesn't have it through turn 1. Now down into turn 5. He's going to keep it in line. I've got to think if this move is going to come, it's going to come down into turn 10. At least that's the way this is shaping up. Through turn 6 and 7, they try to keep going. Not going to get it. Defensive line there for Serravalle. Is that going to cost him down this run down the back straightaway?
Yeah, big run for Salameo as he was able to use the apex a lot better. He'll go all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Look at Salameo. Going to try to maybe give him a little bump and run coming through the big defensive line to the bottom. A little wide coming through the corner for Serravalle. Can Salameo tuck it down the inside? No. Here comes Murphy as well to make it 3 at the line. Serravalle with another victory. A aggressive one there in the GP Junior category. Serravalle, Salameo, Murphy, Samet, and Bradley, the top 5. Isaac Malkit started on the off pole, got roughed up a little bit early, fell back. He's going to go to the 6th position. Travis Pettit able to work his way back and then forward, and eventually, essentially where he actually was up 5. So +5 for him. It was Doan who finished where he started in 8th. Benham Abernathy and Edward Kennedy rounding out the top 10, the remainder of your top 20 right there.
And I think for me, what the big story here is Malkit falling down through the order as much as he did. That was his P7 by the end of the race. It looked like we were calling earlier on that he was going to be the one to be able to challenge. And I think Isaac maybe took a swing at something and the cart just didn't exactly work out right. But in 6th place, Pettit was 7th. So maybe a little bit of a question mark there just off the pace. Let's go back and check out the replay here of exactly what happened. This was the run that we saw with Eli Steinbrook. Let's go ahead and check that out, Rob. Just looked like he got wide coming through turn 5.
Watch the guys coming out here through as turn number 8 to the outside. Yeah, he just missed the apex. You saw he got in there, didn't get the car turned up, more of a shallow entry in. I talked about it before the break, that when you come in like that, you got to roll the car up a little bit if you're going to have that shallow of an entry. And he just, the shallow entry means a wider arc on the exit, and just it drove him straight into the wall. Not much he could do.
Well, and that's something else that we've talked about with these barriers, a little less bias ply in them necessarily. They don't have as much give in them. And if you just lightly tag them like we saw Eli do there, you're going to get wrapped up into them.
There's a number of different barrier manufacturers that have used over the years. You go to these street circuit events, parking lot events, and you'll see barriers by Tech Pro, the Scribner, other different companies that make them. Each one has a bit of a different design as well. So some of them lock together, some have more give. These ones here lock together nicely and are a little more sturdy. That's a good thing. Still, if you make that mistake and get into the wall, you can see that you'll see as they start to they break way. That's the whole idea. The weight of the car and the weight of the barrier, depending on how hard you hit it, it's going to flex, it's going to move, so that you're going to get caught up into it if you hit it hard. But the bottom line is, if you make a mistake like we saw there, you're going to get drug in and really pulled into the barrier. There's nowhere you can go in there, and that's just them doing what they're designed to do.
Exactly, and that design is supposed to dissipate energy. It is supposed to spread it out. We always say, no matter what series you are in, particularly though if you move up through the ranks here and you get into car racing, that if you see pieces flying off the car, that's actually kind of a good thing, because energy is going out and around. Same kind of concept. If you hit the barrier and it doesn't move, that's a problem.
1 down, 10 more to go. ROK GP Junior in the books. ROK Mini up next. Maxwell Macha scored the win in heat race number 3. Santiago Orioli was in there as well. Asher Pavin, Cameron Johnson, Koa Saito. Those are drivers that we expect to see out here. Lawrence Perriman as well. So the 4th heat race for the ROK Mini category up next. Getting closer and closer to these pre-finals and LCQs.
Yeah, and as Lawrence Perriman, we saw earlier today, brought us around around the track. A really momentum-based circuit, even though there are some of those quick flicks and those sort of heavy braking zones like down into turn 10. This is a real momentum and rhythm kind of circuit.
Yeah, the corner speeds are high. The average corner speeds. We don't have the long straightaways to a hard hairpin where the shifters are all the way down into second gear or first gear, or you guys are really on hard on the brakes to get the car to turn. This is a big flowing racetrack, right? That's one of the things we're seeing here right now. It's again the minimum speed is very low, and again that changes the way that you set the chassis up. Every mechanic's had to deal with that over the last little while, as well as all the drivers here in the ROK Mini category. Maxwell Macha and the number 174 will lead him out onto the racetrack, chased here by Santiago Orioli. Great field of drivers here, 23 strong in the ROK Mini category. Again, their final heat race here will set the grid based on the points the drivers accrue through all those heat races. Will set the grid for the main event tomorrow as well. Looking forward to the main events on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It always is fun. You add a little bit of time onto the clock. You amp up the stakes a little bit more. You see a little bit more of those kind of crazy bonsai moves down to the inside as that time ticks away. It really amps up the drama across the board.
I think everybody ready to finish up Saturday. Of course, the LCQs, as we know, the pre-finals coming as well. The SP Pro final heat race will be the last race of the day as well. All setting the stage for Sunday's main events here at the Rio and ROK Vegas. Speed Sense Motorsports, the sponsor of this ROK Mini category. Those drivers on the racetrack can get set to go. As I said, Maxwell Macha alongside Santiago Orioli on row 1. Asher Pavin, who has been very impressive in the 154, the Canadian, starting alongside Cameron Johnson on row 2. Koa Saito and Lawrence Pearman, row 3. Luis Martinez and Hudson Hidalgo on row 4. To cap off your top 10, Benny Abdallah and Paxton Romero.
All right, green flag flies, and we are racing once more. Macha looks like he's going to be able to get it. And again, that outside line for Orioli just doesn't look like it pays off. He's going to drop down 3, 4, maybe even 5 positions, certainly down in the order. Pavin looks like the one that's able to gain the most from it. Luis Martinez maybe up into third here as they come down through it. And we're going to go quickly over to Jackson, who's got a quick update for us.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Just a quick update here. Talk to Eli Steinberg. Believe that looking at the replay, it might have been Hector Rudiaga that influenced that incident there in that RPG machine, but is not super pleased with it. You look a little bit further back, Alexander Savage also having mechanical issues after going into the barrier. That chassis, all sorts of off-kilter, guys.
Yeah, you hate that, because one of the things, of course, coming out here to a temporary circuit race, you're doing the best you can to keep it between the barriers, but when you don't, as we said, these barriers are fairly heavy. You see they're all kind of locked all together. It doesn't take much to some of that energy to still make its way through an axle, through a wheel, or potentially, depending on the impact, into the chassis itself. Now, Tiago Peranzino's out back on the chassis table. If you're bent up, you're going back to Tiago. He's going to get the thing as close as you can back to being straight. But again, that's the perils of running these parking lot events. Is if you get the barrier hard enough, you may bend the chassis.
Yes, and my apologies to Santiago Orioli. Actually recovered into third place and is part of this 3-kart breakaway up at the front of ROK Mini here. And that's going to be Macha, Pavin, and Orioli. Benny Abdallah, great launch off there. That is up a number of positions for Benny up into P4 right now.
DJ, I don't think you were wrong. I think really if you're on the outside of the front row, based on the way the track is laid out, to come all the way back through the kind of kink of 1, then 2, then the 3-4 combination, I think P3 is about the best you're going to hope for.
Yeah.
Like, you may be able to get into second if you really run the rim and the guy checks up a bit, but for the most part, the guy in third is going to push the leader through. You're hoping to stay side by side with the guy in P3. At that point, if you can tuck into third, I think you're happy and you go to work, just like Orioli's doing right now. He'll look to the inside to Asher Pavin. Not quite enough coming into turn number 10. But he's right there and gets him on the inside. Oh, did I ever like that? He looked to the inside and then was able to sneak through in turn number 11.
That was very, very pretty from Santiago Orioli. Just a heads-up move, and he's not done. He's going to take a look down to the inside of your leader, Maxwell Macha, down into turn number 2. Doesn't pay out. Macha will hold on to the lead, but he certainly knows that he has got a contender behind him in the form of Santiago Orioli as they now power through turn 6 and turn 7.
Wow, he is knocking on the door. First getting by Pavin, then really took a big look to the inside, and there you go, coming across the bow. Thought about the inside at turn number 8. Orioli keeps showing the front bumper, but Maxwell across the bow says, nope, I got this. You're going to try in another corner. In fact, it's going to give him a couple of kart lengths with better exit coming out of turn number 9. That'll give Macha some breathing room, and Paven right back on the rear bumper of Orioli. You see the gap back into the driver. Lone and fourth, Benny Abdallah in the number 122. He's back by about a second. Got over a half a second from Joshua Wheeler, who runs P5.
And this is exactly what you've been harping on all day here, Rob, and that is the fact for Orioli. When you get there, make the pass. Don't wait around for it. Push, push, push.
Well, you'll see drivers that are a half a second faster than the group they're trying to catch, and they're just smoking them. Everybody in the sidelines is rooting them on. The minute they get there, they just slow down to whatever their pace is. And when you're behind a driver like that, you need to give yourself some. If you're faster through a corner, you need to give yourself a bit of room so when you catch up, you'll be able to use that extra speed to go by them. If you're right on top of them, you're banging the bumper. You've got to give room. So if you're indeed that much faster on the way through, you're going to kind of time it so that when you do arrive, it's when you can immediately pounce and get that pass done. That's something it's tough. It's learned. It takes a while for some young drivers, but once you get it, when you're coming back through the field, it makes life a lot easier.
Want to give credit here to the response from Maxwell Macha. Recognized that Orioli was coming on strong with those attempted moves and set down what was briefly the fastest lap of the race, taken away from 10th place Nico Salazar at the last minute. But really, really good heads up from Macha. Farther back down in the field, that's Cameron Johnson sending a move, it looks like, on Nico Salazar, trying to get that around him. Hudson Hidalgo holding right in front of them in P8.
Yeah, that's a good group. I think it's Martinez in 7th, Hidalgo 8th, Johnson 9th, Salazar 10th. They're kind of right together there. Martinez only a couple of tenths of a second behind Lawrence Perriman as well. You'll see them a little bit further back. Big move to the inside there for 5th place running Joshua Wheeler. I think Wheeler kind of thinking about holding things on right now because he started back in 11th. He's got himself up into 5th place right now. So he's, as I said before, hey, I've done my job. I was outside the top 10. I'm up to P5. All I got to do is hold this spot, and I've done my job for this heat race. Always trying to advance a number of positions. Same goes for this battle here up front. The number 103 of Orioli to the lead. He'll take it away from Maxwell Macha.
And we know he likes that inside line coming through turn 8, and he just took it away, but Macha not done yet. Big wiggle on the binders as they come down into turn 10. It's still going to be Orioli that is able to hold on to it. Check behind, by the way. I think Abdallah fell down through the order, and if I saw right, Hudson Hidalgo has now moved up into P4. We'll wait for that reset when they cross over the line, and it looks like, Abdallah still holds on to it. Hidalgo up into 5th, so that battle is on. Hidalgo on the move, though. Looks like we've got a card off. That's the 185.
Forrest Blair off the racetrack there, dropping down to 21st in the order. What a battle we have up front right now as they come through turns 6 and 7. Back over to turn number 8. These guys are just swapping it back and forth. How about the 154 of Asher Paven? Does he get it, or is it an over-under? No, he's your new leader.
Nice job, Paven, again into turn 8. Now here comes the move from Orioli down, thinking about taking a move into the inside. That won't work. They'll stay single file as they come through 10, 11, and 12, continuing to push. And I've got to be thinking, if I'm Benny Abdallah, I am loving seeing this battle take place in front of me. It's still a relatively big gap, I have to say, up in front. It stands here at about 1.5 seconds, but the more these three battle, the better it is, as Orioli now gets by Macha.
Every lap, it's a new leader. Now it's Macha, I think, up in the lead now in the 174, the Perlin, I think. Yep, through turn number 7. I think it's Macha, excuse me, then Orioli, then Paven. Like, they just keep going back and forth. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, and you're right, the 174 of Macha able to hold on to that lead. Doesn't quite look like Abdallah is able to close in, so let's call this a 3-horse race at the moment. Big last-minute maneuver there down to the inside. That was Paven getting a little bit back on Orioli, and now he'll be in second as the white flag will fly.
Going to give a little bit of room right now as well for the leader, Maxwell Macha. Call it 0.4 of a second at the line. Check out this, Orioli trying to go the outside of Asher Paven. Doesn't work. Back into turn number 5. Good gap here for Macha. Likely able to cruise home with this one, considering the battle we got going on for second right now. And again, Benny Abdallah back there has got some breathing room as well for P4. But there's a nice, clean, open run through turn number 8. No looks to the inside this time for Maxwell Macha. he'll be able to cruise through the final handful of corners as he looks back and sees Pavin trying to hold off Orioli.
Pavin looking for that advantage. It's going to be Pavin as they come through 10 and 11. But up at the front of the field, Maxwell Macha started in the front. Wasn't easy, but he was able to hold on to the front and take victory. And big heads up there from Benny Abdallah. You saw that kind of fist bump there from him. I think Benny's very pleased with that fourth place run.
Yeah, I'd take that for sure. Started ninth plus 5. That's exactly what you want to do. Abdallah in the AM engines, number 122, moving his way from ninth up into the 4th spot. There you go with Cameron Johnson 5th, Lawrence Perriman 6th, Nico Salazar in 7th, Joshua Wheeler, who ran up in, I think, 5th at a time, falls back into 8th. Luis Martinez and Hudson Hidalgo rounding out the top 10. Ivor Spence, shout out to him, plus 6, started 17th, ended up in 11th. And then Iker Alvarez started 23rd, plus 8 into 15th.
It's a good run for Iker, and there we saw, obviously, Forrest Blair, that cart that was off into the outside. Also want to give some condolences, I guess, there to Hudson Hidalgo. We saw him up as high as 5th place, and this is that freight train effect that you talk about. You make one wrong move, you get off into, frankly, the marbles, the dust, and the dirt, and the tire debris to the outside on this track, and you can get an absolute train run on you.
And listen, he had the fast lap of the race, so the speed is there, 45.514 on lap number 6 early in that 10-lap distance. So we know that Hudson Hidalgo has the speed to run up front. He needs to stay out of trouble and stay clean. Another one in the books. Time to bang some gears. ROK Shifter Pro is going to be up next.
Yeah, and these shifters are a very fun one. Let's go ahead real quick and let's pay some bills here. We're going to take a quick break away from you, and we'll be right back.
"27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters. And as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato O'Ward, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America, and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Into the acceleration zone, green flag flies. We are racing. Big slide farther back in the pack. Couple of micros going a little bit slideways, but they're going to hold it together. Pressure from Luca Besseril. Besseril looks outside for speed. Now down into turn 4. Got it. This position going to go to the inside of turn 1. Got it. The lead of it. Whoa! Cross back, crossover.
I don't think battling each other is the way to go right here.
Oh, almost a little bit of a swiggle there for Trusho in that purple car. Here comes Del Bon to the line. Look at him, he's so excited. Pit lane, as we've got an update here from Jackson Lambros. And Jackson, what do you got for us, my friend?
Deej just talked with Cooper Becklin, driver for the NRC shifter machine, who has been really challenging that GFC out in front, as well as Adrian Reneden, but talked about his struggles right now battling with Massimo Valiente in a Tal kart, asking him what he's missing on pace right now And he just said his starts. He feels really, really good in single lap pace. I was also trying to catch up with him on how the track has evolved so far, how overtaking is challenging here. And he said it's not necessarily a challenge to overtake, but just like any street circuit, going to take a couple of corners to set it up. And Rob, as a guy who has a couple of starts in USF at Toronto, he's no stranger to that.
Yeah, to be honest, Cooper Becklin was super impressive last year on the streets of Toronto on that USF Pro 2000 car, which I would say is more like a shifter car. If you look at the USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000, the Juniors is kind of like driving a KA or a VLR or even the Rotax 125, one of those kind of power plants. But you move a little further up, a Pro 2000 is like driving a rock shifter. It's that kind of thing that throws the car around. It's like that shift when you're on the shift of the throttle. That's the same kind of thing. So Cooper jumping over to the shifter, that's good going back and forth. Any young driver, I would say, if you're trying to go into cars, the shifter may not be the right idea to train because it's just more of a violent ride than you would have in a USF Juniors car.
All right, I'm taking notes here for my future child.
Write that down. But I'll say this, Cooper Becklin, super impressive. We saw how he was kind of right there, was able to get up into third. He was also the fastest driver this morning in warm-up as well. So you look at connect the dots with how Cooper Becklin's moving forward. Even his fast lap of the race in the last race was less than a tenth of a second behind that of Jacob Gulick. I think he's in a great spot right now. I think Cooper's going to keep pushing. If he and Massimo Valiente find that little bit that they're missing, we're going to have 4 drivers fighting for the race win tomorrow.
Well, and that's exactly what we were saying in the heat race this morning, that we looked at the times from Cooper Becklin and from Massimo Valiente and said, if they get this start right, which we know Massimo can do,
we saw a couple, yeah.
If they get this start right and stick up with Rendon and Gulick, we're going to be in a position where we can have that 3-4 car battle. Mateo Pappas also there. Scott Hargrove, another one that could potentially get in there. I think it really depends on if Rendon and Gulick are able to scamper away at the front of the field or not.
I think the biggest thing right now for Cooper Becklin is the fact that he starts now in the third spot. He's behind Rendon and he's on the inside. If he gets a better launch than Jacob Gulick, he may be able to get up into second. We've talked a lot about how it's tough being on the outside of the front row coming into the starts, especially the rolling starts. You get kind of hung out to dry a little bit. P3 is almost the best you could hope for. If Becklin can get off the line cleanly here, he may be able to muscle his way by Gulick and put himself in the middle of that fight between Rendon and Gulick. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, standing start here for the shifter category, so that's going to change the calculus just a little bit when we talk about the start here, but I still think that you're right, that inside line is going to be where you're going to want to be. All right, checks from the officials there. Eyes towards the flag stand. We had a jump earlier in the Masters and Super Masters. Let's see if we all stay clean. It does, and that's a great getaway for Gulick. Slices in front of Rendon, and he's going to be able to take the lead off the down B.
What a hole shot for Jacob Gulick. Out of the gun, goes to P1, but quickly Rendon came right back at him. Or is that actually, who came through there? No, that's still Gulick. Gulick, what a start there in the white and black GFC, rocketing off the line to be able to beat them all the way to the apex of turn number 2. Great job for him. Rendon slots into the second position. Another one for Valiente as well. I think he's up to third. Becklin did not get the launch he wanted. Fell back a little bit. But Gulick has gone back to the lead. P1 in the opening circuit.
But Rendon's not done with him. Tried to get a good run out of turn 13 as we get that reset. No, excuse me. That's a bad run there. I saw somebody falling back down through the order, and unfortunately that was Cooper Becklin. It's Mateo Pappas that is up into P4.
I don't know if we want to go back and look at a replay of that start if it's possible, but Pappas may have had the best start. If you look further back, well, maybe not Gulick, he was a rocket, but you could see Pappas got off the line quickly, went right to the middle of the racetrack, and he was able to put that together. We'll get a chance to look at a replay of the start. Look a couple of rows back here right now. Look at the Burrell arc dive to the inside. Look at that start for Pappas. He literally goes around the outside of Cooper Becklin. Mateo, fantastic launch off the line.
Yeah, great one there. That was really, really impressive for Pappas. Now Becklin moving his way back through the order in 5th, close on in. Gulick still leads from Rendon. Valiente keeping that. Let's call it a mini breakaway up at the front of the field, although it does look like Gulick and Rendon are trying to do what they did earlier and just separate as much as possible. They want to leave Pappas, Becklin, and Valiente in their dust.
That's it. The whole idea in these early laps is to see if you can't be the guy on cold tires that's able to stretch away. They do the best they can on that warm-up lap to get the heat in the tires, but there's a lot still left on the table once that happens over the first couple of laps. If you're able to pull away early when the tires aren't perfect, remember the tire pressures are low. Cart doesn't feel good, really good right now. No one ever says, man, it's perfect in the opening couple laps, because it better not be. If it's perfect early, it's going to suck later on. You want it to be a little tougher to drive. If you're able to pull away, then you're able to hold that gap. This is what I'm impressed with right now for Massimo Valiente. He is hanging right in there last time by. His fast lap, a couple of hundredths of a second off of Reninen. So very impressive run in here now for Valiante. Love seeing him up here battling with these guys, P3.
Yeah, and let's see here, again, with these shifter carts, we talked about it in the earlier sessions, you're able to get a little bit better bite off of the line because you can control that gearing. So it really opens up turn 10. That heavy braking zone has a little bit more of an opportunity. But let's keep an eye on Valiente. Gulick sets the fastest lap of the race. No surprise, he's got a little gap at the front of the field. I thought Valiente was going to have a run into turns 1 and 2, but he is looking threatening on the back of the 412 of Reninen.
We didn't see the pass, but Cooper Becklin is marching his way back forward again, able to get by Mateo Pappas. So Becklin back up into the 4th position here right now. We'll look at lap time when they come back around. Fantastic lap of 39.884. Only driver under the 40-second mark. That's Jacob Gulick, P1, and purple as well. You can see that Reninen having his focus diverted rearward as Massimo Valiante putting the pressure on there on the ITAL cart. You'll see further back, there's Becklin there. Man, he's on a charge too. He may go purple here. Not quite, but close. 39.919 for Cooper Becklin, matching the pace of the guys up front.
All right, they're going to keep going here at this point. Pushing ahead, waiting to see if anybody's going to fire off. I'm impressed here with Cooper Becklin. That 39.919, a couple of hundredths faster than everybody else around him, but he is starting to close that gap up to Massimo Valiente and coming true on that promise for a 4-car scrap up at the front.
Yeah, he just wanted to get off the line cleanly to try to sneak into the inside there and hold on to Reninen, but man, that Jacob Gulick launch was absolutely masterful as he rocketed off the line, came across the bow, and really dominated the inside of turn 1, and of course they further down the corner into the tighter turn number 2 right there that leads back over into this little 3-4 combination up to 5. So super good stuff out of Jacob Gulick. Very impressive out of the gate and continues to lead. 0.4 of a second the lead over Reninen last time by. And again, Valiante almost exactly the same lap time. In fact, 31 thousandths of a second separated first, second, third, and fourth in that last lap in terms of time.
Well, I think this is another case of a percolating battle where we are just waiting for one of these drivers to make a move, because that means it's going to have a domino effect all the way back down through the order. So we watch Gulick right now through turn 2, keeping things together. That gap coming down for Cooper Becklin. It's down to about 0.9 of a second here as he tries to claw in on Massimo Valiente to just see if he can be able to get his way forward. And again, this is going to be a situation, Rob, that you talked about. When you get there, make the pass. Don't try to wait for the opportune moment.
And we'll see what happens with Reninen here. Last time by, he was quicker, but not by much. We're talking hundredths of a second, fore and aft here for the drivers all around each other. Becklin actually just went purple. Cooper Becklin, 39.707. So if there's any thought of whether or not he could run with these guys up front, throw that out the window. These guys are just swapping back and forth in terms of fast lap. Purple now for Reninen, 39.613. He goes quicker. And indeed, 1.6 seconds separates first back into fourth. And again, really for Cooper Becklin, DJ, it's just that gap that he lost at the start, right? Was able to get back to P4. Because they're all so evenly matched, he's just not able to really even chip into it. A little bit here and there. He stays in the frame, but not quite close enough to make any kind of a challenge on Valiante.
No, and I'm waiting here for another about 2 laps, I think, is when we're going to see Reninen really start to make this attack. That's kind of what we saw last time around. Gulick did the opposite to Reninen, just let everything stay in place and then make the attack. If I'm Adrian Reninen, that's exactly what I'm looking to do, is just wait until that cart is in that perfect operating window when I know exactly what it's going to do, and then I lick the stamp and send it.
He needs to get a bit closer first and foremost. He is within 0.3 of a second now to close up here on Gulick. He's got a couple of back-to-back fast laps. If this cart is going in the right direction, very similar to what we saw in heat race number 2, it just started closing up. Gulick had a nice lead. Reninen went quicker and quicker, reeled him in. Look at Valiante there as well, but if he's able to keep closing in here, it may set things up. We're looking at probably 5 laps left in this race. How about Valiante now? with the fast lap, 39.586. Everyone watching back home at Sumas and the track up there, the Valiente facility, you're cheering on Massimo, pushing hard in the 495, right there with the leaders as the quickest driver on the racetrack for lap number 10.
But it doesn't look like he's been able to close all that much, and that's partially because we're talking about tenths here.
Yeah.
We're talking about hundredths here. I mean, it is not much separating these drivers. Looks like Reninen got a pretty decent run mid-corner through 13, but again, the way this track is configured, it comes back and then it takes away, and it comes back and it takes away. As they crossed over the stripe with lap times here at about 39, I think we're at 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and Becklin just got the fast lap, by the way, folks. Just to know we're spreading around the wealth here right now. Everybody getting an opportunity to go purple on live timing. I will say this, Valiante's trying to get close enough to, if there's a move from Reninen, and if it's tough, and maybe they both get shoveled off the racetrack a little bit, he wants to make sure he can capitalize. Whatever happens, whether it's just following Reninen through to grab second, or whether it's taking the whole Shamazo if they get together, that's what Valiante's trying to do. He has dropped off a little bit there, as you can see. Reninen dialing things up. 2 laps to go. Final heat race for the drivers here in the Shifter Pro category. After this, they got Sunday's main event. Let's see how it plays out here with the final couple of circuits.
Reninen was very close coming down through 3 and 4 and into 5. Lost a little bit of time, but he's still the one that's going to be trying to close in on the back of Jacob Gulick, putting pressure as much as possible. White flag will be out on the next circuit as they now break into turn 10. Still not close enough for Reninen, but if he gets another good run out of turn 13, that may hurt him a little bit. Big hop, skip, and a jump over the curves.
Cooper Becklin keeps trying to push. He's within 1.3 seconds. Yeah, you can see how much closer Coop is now. He's trying to roll himself up here. Cooper Becklin, another fast lap here on lap number 13. He is closing, no doubt about it. It is the final circuit, though. He'll have to take solace in the fact that he's got great speed. Let's see whether or not Reninen has anything right now for Jacob Gulick. Gulick trying to get another race win. It does not happen in turn number 8, maybe turn number 10.
He's close. He's closer than he's been for a hot minute, but it's still not quite close enough for Adrian Reninen. No pokes to the inside coming down into turn 10. Gulick will hold the advantage as they come through 12 for the final time. Now through the sweeper of turn 13. They will come to the checkered flag. It's Gulick, it's Reninen, it's Valiente, and it's Becklin just as quick as that.
How do you like that? That was fantastic. I'll tell you this right now as the other remainder of the field comes through. Scotty Hargrove rolling up into the 5th position from 6th to 5th. Mateo Pappas ends up 6th. Lars Olander in 7th. Carlos Maldonado, Jake Kober, and Eric Hermanson rounding out the top 10. Matt Greeny and Maddox Tidwell to complete the 12 drivers on the field. Cooper Becklin didn't get the best start. Fell back to 5th. Got by Pappas up to 4th. But he kept getting quicker and quicker, ended up laying down the purple laps. Remember one thing, when you start being the fastest guy at the end of a 14-lap race, knowing that the main event's probably going to be 20 or more laps, his kart kept getting better. Don't count out Cooper Becklin or Massimo Valiente here. This is going to be a barn burner with 4 drivers coming across the line separated by just 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want to have happen when we talk about going into these runs, when we talk about going into these later events. I think this is going to be, to steal your word, an absolute barn burner. This is going to be a fantastic race. I think a lot of it's going to come down to that start. So many variables on a standing start like this. But with that added time in the race, I think that's really going to open up things and change the perspective quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So 3 down, the ROK VLR Masters and Supermasters drivers will be out next. Great field there, and I had a chance to talk to Ben Cooper. He said he's still chasing it. They just haven't, because as we got from the interview with Jackson, he didn't get a lot of time during the practice day. They've used in the heats almost as practice. They tried something, it wasn't right again. They're going to try it again here. It's just a weekend-long attempt to get things right for Ben Cooper, but we saw Lauren Tumar-Danby, the guy to beat in heat race number 3. We've got that race, then we got a couple pre-finals, ROK Micro, the Master Shifters and Supermaster, and LCQ. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and you mentioned him, and he appears. We go down to Jackson Lambros.
Kyle Hayner, the H in Hayner Racing Team out of Southern California, also really flexing that muscle in heat number 3. Just had a phenomenal conversation with the man behind the wheel of that OTK machine. And he was telling me, yes, he's happy that he's gotten at the front. Kind of thankful for the stayer failure this morning because that engine had nothing. And it took pretty much an entire rebuild this morning to figure out there was something wrong with it. But talking about his weekend at a broader scale, it's just difficult to be a third party between Renato David and Ben Cooper. And you combine that for him, a track that doesn't really have a lot of compromise. And looking in his toolbox, and in a lot of these guys in this grid's toolbox, they don't have a lot of strengths at. He's pretty confident in saying this is one of the hardest races he's ever ran, guys.
That's some pretty high praise of this track laid out by ROK Cup, we have to say.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And listen, I think it's a different challenge than we've seen from a lot of the racetracks here at the Rio, at other facilities that they've ran. Remember, ROK Vegas, ROK Cup USA ran at Planet Hollywood in a kind of an odd situation over there where they had to move late. They were able to work on a different parking lot. That was more of one of those point-and-shoot racetracks, right? When you have not a lot of room to work with, a lot of times you double back, hairpins here, a lot of 90-degree corners. But when you have those hairpins, it lowers that the average corner speed. You're on the brakes a lot. You're down into second gear in a shifter. You're needing to carry momentum speed in a single-speed VLR. You don't want it to drop off the pipe. We're not worried about that here this weekend because this track is so much more about high speeds, carrying a lot of momentum, all that speed you carry into turn 1 and 2, all that speed you carry through turn 6 and 7 to get over to turn number 8. It's just it's a different approach, different racetrack, and it's going to race well. It's something different. It's something I haven't seen since I've been here for 23 years at races at the Rio, so I'm excited to see how it plays out for the main event in a long-run race. We're seeing these short, let's say 14, 15 lap races because of the shorter nature of the track. Wait till we run for a lot longer, and we're going to get some tire deg. We're going to get some drivers are going to get tired. The final laps of our main events, I think, are really what we're all waiting to see.
Well, as we said, it is going to be Kyle Hayner up in front. David will be right behind him. Fonseca, Martin in the top 4. Cooper, Molinati, and Kasner, your top 7. Then we move back into the Supermasters class. That's going to be designated by those orange barriers if you are watching on YouTube. Barrios and Jackson with Matthew Meach rounding out your top 10. Keep an eye here, though, on Scott Falcone. Starting at the back of the order, he's going to have a lot to try to make up here, but we know he's quick. He was dicing it up with the Masters earlier on this weekend.
Indeed, Kyle Hayner, very impressive. Guys coming from the back of the pack like Falcone. And more than that, Falcone's deeper in the back. Chad Wallace trying to dial things in. Paul Bonilla a little further back. But yeah, Hayner, Renato Jota David, Charlie Fonseca, Ben Cooper, Laurent Martin. All these guys have shown fantastic speed throughout the day. We'll see how it plays out here right now as Hayner is going to lead him into turn number 1. Indeed, if he gets that jump, Jota David on the outside, everybody into the tram lines, lights are out, and we're at it. Green, green, green. Final heat race for drivers and Masters. VLR.
Hayner off.
Big wreck. Drivers off at turn number 1.
And that was Hayner. That was your leader that was taken out as a result of that. I think that was some front to rear contact. Jota David shuffled back down through the order. I believe that's the 7-11 of Ryan Kasner that has now inherited P1.
From 7th on the grid, Ryan Kasner goes to P1. I believe the 20 of Paul Bonilla might have been involved in that one as well. Again, all those drivers going off. The minute somebody starts going off, you get stuck out to the outside. You can't turn back in. You're kind of along for the ride until you're able to get on the brakes and get back to the left. Kasner says, thank you so much. I'll take that lead. Is that Mario Barrios potentially? Mario Barrios probably, I think, up into second. The Supermasters driver, indeed.
Yeah.
Mario Barrios in the Rawlson Performance Group 26 goes into second. What a shake-up here. Ideally, we'll get a chance to see the replay at some point of that start. Wild stuff to begin the final heat race for the driver in VLR Masters and Supermaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Buck wild here is now we've got about a 5-car, let's call it mini breakaway with Kasner, Barrios, Molinati, Jackson, and David. Also Matthew Meach holding on to the back of that as well. Keep an eye here on Renato Jadir David. That's going to be the fast one to come. Oh,
that's Miguel Mir.
Oh.
Miguel Mir, who's going to start up front as well. Where was he starting? He was actually in the 13th spot, one of the Supermasters drivers. Top 5, I believe, in Supermaster. He's going to go to the tail of the field as well for an issue there. So what a shakeup. Haven't seen Kasner up front, Barrios, Molinati, Jackson, Meach. They're all up in there right now. So a new look top 5, top 10. As we just get things rolling here in VLR Masters.
And let's go back and take a look at replay at that start, try to diagnose exactly what happened here, Rob.
Keep an eye on Kyle Hayner right there turning in as he gets to the corner. Oh, he just gets driven in from behind. Who started behind him? I think kind of pushed him through the corner. Charlie Fonseca. The RPG, I saw the purple, white, and pink of Fonseca. He started behind him. And again, I'll say this. I'm not going to throw blame on Fonseca right now. As you come into the corner like that, Fonseca's on him. We know the guy on the outside is trying to hold on. Did he break a little early? Did Hayner get in and get on the break a little bit earlier, or did Fonseca just overrun the corner, right? You never quite know unless you're in the head of the drivers.
Yeah, and let's head down to Jackson, who I believe's got an update on the situation.
Well, guys, just some food for thought because Sergio Rodriguez yesterday was also not thrilled with Charlie Fonseca and his style of driving so much so that he elected to park that CRG about 5 laps into the second heat. That was after apparently some repeated offenses of those two in the maiden heat. So Charlie Fonseca, not going to question his driving from here, but clearly from the drivers' opinions, not making a lot of friends out there, guys.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here right now. Where did he end up when that all is said and done? Because he obviously got caught up in that as well. Trying to figure out where's Charlie here. He's moving his way back up to 12th position now.
Okay.
So he's up to 12th after the incident. He was able to kind of get rolling again after going off track with everybody. Kind of pushed off straight and got back at it. Kyle Hayner back up to 24th right now. So the recovery is on. Kazner's pulled away about 0.8 of a second here now. Barrios runs in second. Molinati third. Jean David in fourth. Jackson fifth. Matthew Meach up to sixth. Darrell Redland seventh. Joshua Daly, who was upside down yesterday, is now running in the 8th spot. Tim Meyer in ninth and Mingyan Zhu now in the top 10.
Yeah, good run for Mingyan Zhu. Good to see him there. Here comes Jean David trying to make the move. Barrios being very defensive, but Jean David able to get the pass done on Molinati. That'll move Jean David up into P3.
Yeah, I think he's looking to capitalize right now. He wasn't involved in the incident, as we know. Kind of was there, but was able to get out of the way to a certain extent. Obviously not part of the contact between the drivers starting in first and third. So this is a really good opportunity for him to cash in right now, knowing that Hayner's way back, that the guys that he was battling with earlier are further back. This is a chance for him to put up a good mark. Like even Laurent Tumardin's down in 22nd. They all have potentially bad results. If he has a good one here, even if he holds where he is right now, I got to think Jean David may get a chance to lock down the pole position for Sunday.
Yeah, and he immediately is going to become the favorite for Sunday based off of that. And he doesn't want just P3. He wants P2. Looking to the back of Mario Barrios, he is attacking.
I will tell you this right now, Barrios is a tough guy to pass. That's a great move to the inside of 5. Mario is usually very, very tough to overtake, but hard to stop a guy with speed in turn number 5. And not only did David come through, he brought Molinati with him. The minute that Barrios opened up to make the move down to the inside, David and Molinati put it in there. Now, I'll say this, Barrios still the leader in the Supermasters category right now, ahead of Eric Jackson. So Barrios runs 4th, Jackson runs in 5th, Daly 7th, Redland 8th, and Meyer 10th. So essentially our top 10 split between Masters and Supermasters drivers.
Which you kind of love to see. I mean, that breakdown, and we saw Scott Falcone being able to do that a little bit earlier on, kind of changing it up and dicing it up there with them. And Scott Falcone, by the way, running in 18th position. Charlie Fonseca on the recovery here. He has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 43.564.
And think about the shakeup. Yeah, Jean David's still on top, but who have we been talking about all weekend? Guys like Ben Cooper. He's 17th right now. We've been talking about Miguel Mir, 34th. We talked about, of course, Kyle Hayner. He's in 20th right now. Laurent Tumardin, 19th. Falcone, 18th. Some of these guys who have been up front are at the tail of the field. Falcone for different reasons, obviously the DQ, then the issue in the third heat race. But then you've got other guys that have just got absolutely rigged here in this particular heat race to really shake things up. Jean David plays his cards right. He's going to be in great shape going into the main event tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think if I'm Jean David, I mean, obviously, I want to be able to close down. I want this win. There's no question about that. But you've got to be thinking about long game. You've got to be thinking about tomorrow. Don't overuse the cart. Don't overspend anything. Now, granted, I say all of that, and we've got to remember they're probably going to switch over to new tires for tomorrow. So maybe you do go a little bit for broke here.
Yeah, I think at this point here, if he's not going to know exactly where the guys are, right? He's not going to realize that Cooper's that far back. He's out here just digging. Jean David's going to try to go for a race win. We're following a battle a little bit further back. You see 1, 2, 3. That's the 4 on back. That's Barrios, Matthew Meach, Jackson, Daly, Fonseca, Redland, Zhu, Meyer. That's the battle we're watching coming across the line there. But for a guy like Jean David, he's looking to capitalize as much as he can. He wants to win every session. But and he'll be happy to know when he comes in that what he's doing right now is very likely going to lock him down for pole.
Yeah, he'll be happy about that. By the way, Joshua Daly really poking and prodding, trying to find his way around Eric Jackson in front of him. That's for the second position in the Supermasters category, so there are stakes in that position that he's trying to fight for. But as you said, Barrios leading the way in this little pack from 4th on back.
Ben Cooper back up to 12th now. Mardan runs 17th, Falcone 19th, Hayner 20th. So again, those are the drivers we're kind of watching, try to get themselves back forward. And I'll say that depending on the level of the recovery here, DJ, they may not lose the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place spots because they had such good results in the first 3 heat races. It's not like, well, Falcone's going to be deeper in the field as it is. But guys like Cooper and Mardan and Hayner, the better their recovery, the more they're going to potentially lock down. But it's not like they're going to be outside the top 10 because of one result, because other drivers, of course, average more of that kind of a finish. So they're all trying to do what they can right now. Ben Cooper now up to 10th. He is a man on the move right now for sure. Charlie Fonseca just turned fast lap, 43.564. I have no doubt race officials will be having a look at that start coming down into number 1.
Yeah, but I think crucially here, Fonseca's been able to gain 2 positions. He's up to 6th overall. Now going to be looking to the back of Matthew Meach. Meach is in the battle here with Mario Barrios right up ahead of him. Barrios putting on that stout defense that you mentioned a little bit earlier, really holding up there. We've got a kart slow in the background.
One of the Arcelon racing drivers.
Yeah.
Slow there as well. We are going to see the white flag this next time by. We're at the 2 to go sign. So one more lap for Ryan Kasner, who got a massive gift for the ability to get through that chaos on the opening corner. Kasner in that number 7-11, leading the way. He'll see the white flag. Kasner, though, getting chased down by Jadr David. Oh, it is very close. Jadr David, for a second there, turned the fastest lap. He rolls through with a 46.6. Or 46.622, his best lap. He's all over Kasner. Final lap here. He'll look to the inside of turn number 6. Kasner doesn't want to give it up. Throw it back in the inside. Watch the over-under. Here he comes through. Kasner has to try to hold off Molinari as well. Kasner is going to go back to 3rd. And here comes Molinari as well.
Side by side through 9. That's not something we've seen a whole lot of. I don't think this battle is done yet. Jadr David holding off as best as he can. It's going to be side by side between Molinari and Kasner. Kasner to the inside, but runs wide. There's the run for Molinari. That's going to just allow for Jadr David to just skip away into the distance. He will take the victory, followed by Kasner and Molinari.
That was a fun finish, no doubt about that. Renato Jadr David put it all on Kasner, tried the inside of 6. Kasner didn't want to give it up, came over to 7. The over-under allowed David to get through quickly. Molinari tried to come through as well. Then Molinari almost took it back from David going through turn number 9. And then a really strong, aggressive move for Kasner around the outside going into turn number 11 to hold that spot. They were side by side almost coming out of turn number 12. Nonetheless, David, Kasner, Molinari 1, 2, 3. Barrios holds on as your top Supermasters driver in 4th. Fonseca works his way back up to 5th. Daly 6th. Meach 7th. Ben Cooper all the way back up into 8th after he being pushed down. Right there, chased by Laurent Mardan. Alexander Delbon wrapping up the top 10. Kyle Hayner up into 16th. And sadly, I think the driver we saw from Arcelon was slowing was Scott Falcone. It has not been a good weekend for Falcone. He finishes in 26th.
Nah, not good there from him. But let's go over to Jackson, who's got an update for us. All right, I think we had a little bit of a problem there. We're going to throw down to our roving reporter, Jackson Lambros. Jackson, take it away, my friend.
1 position shy of maybe what you wanted, but 5 positions forward, nothing to shake your stick at, Ryan. Talk to me about that heat. Talk to me about that start, my friend.
Start was crazy. Right off the rip, going into the essentially turn 1. Cart spun. I was on the inside, so I was able to hold it low and kind of get out. Big thanks to P1 Engines, Prodigy Motorsports out in North Carolina, the distributor for the best cart. We're out here, and that thing's rolling. I'm stoked that I can get out here and give it a good debut in a national level. So, the track workers, everybody out here, I appreciate what they do because we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for them.
Couple questions really quick. First, how much has this cart evolved for you over the course of this weekend? What changes have been made?
Not much. Yeah, essentially we've played with wheels. Other than that, chassis adjustments, whatnot, we pulled it out. I ran it once out at K1, made the wrong decision on which direction we good, having some good races with Meech and whatnot, and we just took that information and we've got this monster right now. So I'm very happy and very pleased with where we're at.
It's been the Ben Cooper and Renato David show for not just this weekend, but for the past couple of years. How impressive is this for you? How much of a confidence booster is it for you to kind of enter the fray here?
Anytime you can be in a group with those names is unbelievable. Like being able to just be in the same realm of a lot of the drivers that are on this grid is great. So I'm very, very happy and just looking forward to getting after it tomorrow, see what we can do.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Going to keep it rolling here really quick and see if I can actually steal you, my friend Eric Molinati, bringing this team from Sonoma Speed Sense into the fray here. Been a back-and-forth weekend for you so far. You get yourself into the podium here for heat number 3. Talk to me about that action out there.
It was pretty rough out there, no doubt. Everyone's racing to win every single heat. We've been fast all week. I think we've won every practice session, so it feels good to actually get some good results and not get hit and be able to be up in the lead pack. Everyone drove really great, and it's really hard racing, so I think we'll start top 5 for the final, so it'll be a lot of good stuff.
One of your stablemates, Kyle Hayner, kind of described this field almost as forcing you to play 4D chess just because everybody kind of anticipates each other. Is there anything you can kind of share on how you guys interact out on track?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have ultimate respect for teammates. The last thing we want to do is put 2 teammates together, but overall, I think we're learning off each other. We've both been extremely fast all week, so now it's just time to put it down in the final on Sunday and put the cards where they're out. And yeah, it's 4D chess. I mean, you got Ben Cooper, 3-time world champion, Renato David, Formula 2 driver. I mean, just this field's stacked. You can't hide in Masters.
We appreciate it, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And guys, phenomenal racing throughout, but I think at the top is not a group we might have expected initially. Masters are cooking right now.
That's a T-shirt right there. You can't hide in Masters anymore. I like that a lot from Molinati. It's true. I talked about the fact that even Masters and Super Masters, we got guys that have won countless races here in Las Vegas. These guys are the ones that win these big national races. Anywhere Jadre David goes, a ROK Cup Super Final, you name it, this is a guy that is a #1 contender for a race win. But you throw the guys we have into this thing, and I'll tell you, it is great stuff. You know where we are now, though, DJ? It's pre-final time. The VLR Juniors out for what is essentially heat race number 4. It's the pre-final. The top 30 drivers able to get into this one, all the way down to Maximin de Guzman, who ends up in the 30th spot. Everybody else LCQ. Isaac Melkit, not surprised, very impressive in VLR Junior. He'll be on the pole alongside Cole Medeiros, Leonardo Saravalli, and Riker Magro on road number 2.
Yeah, let's keep our eyes on those top 4. They're going to be very, very quick. Popescu also one down starting in 9th that I think I've had my eye on. He's been doing some pretty good rocking and rolling through the field. And Steven Searock has come alive here in the last couple of races, so let's keep an eye on him as well. But they're going to come up to the grid here. Malkut and Medeiros leading your way on through, running out of the way there. And there we go. It's a big move. I think that was Magro trying to get to the inside, and he's going to get a great run down into P2 as they continue to try to lead their way. We've got a couple of carts off into the inside.
Yeah, the 812 and the 877. Andrew Janis and the 877 further back is Isaac Payne. Both those drivers out. But essentially, remember, this is the pre-final. So the worst they're going to finish is 30th, and the worst they're going to start the main event is 30th as well. The 10 that come from the LCQ will go from 31 to 40. So this is really just setting up where you're going to run the race on Sunday.
Also saw Sebastian Hauser's cart getting taken over the line there as well. That's a tough break for him. Ooh, that is not looking good. That looks like a bent axle or something. That cart is not working the way it's supposed to do. But as the leaders come back around to be able to complete lap 1, it is Malkut over Magro, Medeiros, Saravalli, and then Gibson, your top 5.
Let's give some names, some props that we haven't so far. We'll do a full field rundown with the issues on the racetrack. Luca Popescu behind Tristan Murphy. 8th is Eric Doan. 9th, Theo Salameo. 10th, Benham Abernathy. 11 to 15 sees Edward Kennedy, Steven Searock, Valentino Santian, Eli Steinbrook, and Nico Orbezo. Cole Anderson running in the 16th position. Bronson Custis in 17th. Gabby Guerrera and Drew Jensen, 18th and 19th respectively. 20th, Nix Ellsworth alongside Jackson Baldus. Back in 22nd, Braden Wagner up 3 spots already, up 7 for Guzman, who started 23rd. Kara Dungeon and Travis Pettit running 24th and 25th. Colt Schlotthauer, Isaac Payne, Andrew Janis, Sebastian Hauser, and Jose Halfin. Halfin and Hauser, both drivers out on the opening circuit. I think it was Halfin, DJ, with the bent axle.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of repair that they're going to have to take into consideration, trying to fix that thing up. But again, as you said, locked into the final tomorrow. Rob, as we watch them coming through turn 8 right now, we've got to start talking about one of our favorite subjects, and that is the shade that is going to be coming through on this area of the track. Getting very dark out there for these drivers, especially with the tinted visors.
Yeah, it is still very warm here trackside. It's not a normal Q4 race at the end of the season in Las Vegas where it's very cold in the morning, kind of warms up middle of the day, and as the sun goes down, it gets really cold again. Even last night when the sun was going down, it was still very comfortable outside in the mid 60s. But that shade from the Rio, as the sun starts to work its way to the horizon, all of a sudden brings that big shade up the middle. Number one, it cools the racetrack quite a bit. Number two, as you mentioned, all of a sudden go into the darkness with your dark visor. You can't quite see as much. It'll be easy to get used to it, but it will be something that will play a little bit of a factor, especially with some of the newer drivers.
Yeah, Isaac Malcutt up at the front of the field right now, just absolutely putting a blistering pace on. Riker Magro having to hold off an attack here from Cole Medeiros and Serravalle behind as well. That's running in a nice little grouping from 2, 3, and 4. They've got a mini breakaway, let's call it, from Jackson Gibson, who runs ahead of, it's actually Tristan Murphy, who runs ahead of Jackson Gibson and Luca Papascu.
Yeah, a couple of big moves further back, up 10 already for Theo Salameo. And again, you think about what this race does. And again, this is the moment, we talk about mindset a lot throughout this weekend. You battled through all your heat races, right? All 3 of your heat races with the group setup, A, B, C, D. You fought for everything you could. This is an opportunity, first and foremost, to whatever happened in those heat races, you can put it behind you and move forward in a big way. You can start 10th and win this and put it on the pole. You may not have been anywhere near the front of any of the races, but if you nail the pre-final here, you're going to be able to find yourself up front. And so guys like Salamea, who's up 10, we got Ben Abernathy up 6, Edward Kennedy up 7. These drivers are making major hay right now, working their way forward, trying to recover from what could have been some tough heat races.
Yeah, and we just saw a good move there from Cole Medeiros to be able to get to the inside of Riker Magro. Great run for him. He's now going to put his sights on Malcutt to see if he can maybe take in that gap a little bit more. There is Medeiros. A little bit of a look into the inside for Serravalle as well, just trying to see if there's something to be had. But again, very crucial. If you're running up in this top 10 or so, you don't want to throw that all away with a overly risky move.
Well, here's the thing right now. Now we're starting to get to the place where Malc gets out to a full second lead.
Yep.
Medeiros, Magro, Serravalle. You guys got to start working together. Otherwise, Malc gets long gone and locking down the pole for Sunday's main event. He is out front now by .948. Medeiros actually just went purple on that lap, so that bodes well for the group that he's leading with Magro, Serravalle, Murphy, and Gibson behind him. These guys have got to work together right now if they want to try to reel in the leader. Otherwise, they're fighting for second.
Yeah. We're going to have to see now that Medeiros has kind of been able to settle into the second place position if he's able to do so. Riker Magro not looking like there's going to be an attack there. A little bit of a closer battle with Murphy, Gibson, and Papascu farther back. We'll see what they are able to do as time keeps ticking away here. Not a whole lot of time left on the clock. 3 minutes as they cross over the stripe right now.
Keeping an eye on Theo Salameo. So impressive as he's been able to work his way forward. Plus 10 on the order, as I said. Started 19th, now runs in the 9th spot. Digging his way forward here now. Let's see whether or not he's able to come even for maybe up into the top 10. Still quite a ways to go. We got a number of laps still remaining. Malc gets lead down by maybe a 1/10 of a second as Medeiros turns another purple lap. He is the outright fastest driver on the racetrack, hence why he's pulled a little bit of gap as well on Riker Magro. Not much, maybe a length, 2 lengths maybe coming into turn number 11, but they're definitely closing in very slightly, and albeit just a couple of hundredths at a time on Isaac Malcutt.
Yeah, and I'm keeping my eye here on Leonardo Serravalle, as we know that car is very, very quick. We've seen him just absolutely blitz the field in GP Junior, and the same has been true here in VLR Junior as well. So he's starting to put some pressure onto the back of Riker Magro, and that'll be music to the eyes of Cole Medeiros, as that means he'll be able to escape off into the distance.
Yeah, Medeiros like, please, get all over him. Make him go 100% defensive so I can run away here. That's the last thing Medeiros wants, is to have to worry about a driver behind him showing a nose, throwing it to the inside, ruining what he can do in terms of running open laps. You've essentially got to run the full racing line if you're going to want to reel in Isaac Malcolm, because there's nobody around him. He doesn't have to defend. He's not looking to the inside. But we'll keep an eye on him. I tell you, his dad Marcus, his grandpa Mark, a fantastic high-end, legendary super late model racer, and a lot of stuff, engine builder. The racing runs in the Malkit family, let's put it that way. They'll have told him, you don't turn your head.
No.
We all want to look back to see where you are. So many times a coach, a parent will tell their driver, you keep looking forward. Do not turn your head. You keep pushing. Every once in a while you have a look back maybe to see if you got some room, if you feel like you're rocking. But right now I haven't seen Isaac even take a look behind the shoulder yet.
No, he is fully focused forward, and that's exactly the way he needs to be. Saravalli in for that attack here, trying to run into the back of Riker Magro. Are we going to see a poke to the inside for that number 890? Yes, we are. There he goes down to the inside. A little bit of hip and shoulder.
No, that was beautiful. Made the move to the inside. You know what? I've got the apex. I'm going to push a little bit of the right side. You got to check up here, bro. I've got this done. You move a little bit out to the apex to get yourself back around. Textbook overtake by Leonardo Saravalli, and a great job for Riker Magro as well. Checked it up to get back to the inside. Made sure Tristan Murphy wasn't able to tuck in there as well. You never want to get freight trained. You never want to lose more than one spot. If a driver makes a solid, well-executed pass on you, do whatever you can to minimize the damage at one.
Exactly, and that just shows you this talent level that we have here in VLR Junior in this pre-final. Coming across the line right now, there we see the timing scoring update to recognize that Saravalli up into P3. Question now is going to be, is with about 3 laps remaining, if there's going to be enough time for him to close the gap up to Cole Medeiros. I don't think he's going to have enough time to close it down to Malka. That's just out of the realm of possibility, but Saravalli could get this down and take a P2.
Yeah, again, I always love watching splits. You know, when you talk about a battle that's kind of not lining up or not doing wheel to wheel, we always, as commentators, lean into the timing, right? Lean into the numbers, because you see the split, you see the lap times that will get laid down. You see what the trends are. Is the driver trending that he's going quicker and quicker and quicker? Are the tires coming in? Then we can start to forecast whether or not we're going to see a battle before it's all said and done. I do know this: Leonardo Saravalli was the fastest driver on lap number 10 with a 42.6, 42.8 last time by. He was quicker than Malkit on that last lap, as the drivers will work their way back around once again. Good stuff here out front for Malkit. Everybody out digging to try to close in.
Rob, let's go back and take a look at that pass, because as you said, put that on a blackboard and teach it in class. It's about as pretty as it can be.
You're going to see him come to the inside, but watch the end of the pass. He's going to push the car a little wide at the end. So he goes just a little bit further out so that the 881 of Magro was on the outside. When you're on the inside, that driver can't make the turn into the corner quite yet. White flag flying right now. Saravalli did that pass, got it done. He goes purple again with a 42.684, another 1/10 of a second quicker than the leader. He closes it within 6/10 of his teammate Cole Medeiros. But I think based on the gaps we have right now, 1, 2, 3, look like they're pretty much locked and loaded with only a half a lap remaining.
Yeah, I think if we're going to see a battle here, it's going to be for Riker Magro, Tristan Murphy, and Luca Popescu here, back in the running for about 4th place position. Not seeing a poke out of line coming into turn 10, so they're going to stay in line for the moment, keeping everything together. But up at the front of the field, Isaac Malka with an absolutely commanding drive will take victory over Cole Medeiros and Leonardo Saravalli. Great running from all those 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Isaac Malkit capped off yesterday in style with a win in heat race number 2. Here he is in the pre-final, banging out another one, going to bed feeling super confident with what he was able to do. Good movers on the field as well. Popescu up 4 from 10th to 6th. Salameo up 10 from 19th to 9th. Other drivers like Edward Kennedy up 8. Benham Abernathy up 5. Cole Anderson on the GFC started 27th up to 14th. Talk about changing your outlook for Sunday. It would have been a 27th place start. Instead, he'll be starting on the outside of row number 7. Very good run there. Plus 13 for him, plus 10 for Bronson Kustis. A number of drivers making big moves in this 30-car pre-final. Remember, they've made it into the show. Everything they did in the heat races got them in to this pre-final. The top 30 straight in. The rest are going to be in the last chance qualifier. That's set to go around 4:10 this afternoon.
Yeah, you're going to want to stick around for that for sure, as we take a look at the drivers getting their helmets off, getting all ready. There is our man on the ground, Jackson Lambros, grabbing a few people over, getting ready to talk to him. Jackson, I think you've caught up with our winners.
Going to get out of the way here, let the officials do their work. But Isaac, dominant drive out there in the final heat. You're on pole, my friend. Talk to me about that run.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good. At the beginning, I was just able to put down some good laps and get a gap. I think towards the end, they started to catch me a little bit. The tire pressure started to fall off, but other than that, I feel really good for tomorrow.
Obviously, track finally starting to cool down right now, but how much has it evolved over Saturday? Obviously, rubber finally building up, but how different does it feel now from the AM sessions?
It definitely feels a lot grippier than it does in the morning.
Congratulations, Isaac.
Thank you.
That's your pole sitter, Isaac Malkett.
Isaac Malkett with a great run, trying to get his way on through, and we're very happy to see him doing well. Just a commanding drive once again. And Isaac's mentality, we heard him say that in Heat 3 this morning. Get out to a good lead, build that gap, and just hold it.
So 14 laps, right? The distance, the pre-final no longer than a regular heat race, but you think about where they are on tire pressure, what they've done. He said it was just starting to fall off at the very end. They were catching him by maybe a tenth of a second. But now they know, okay, lap, our tire pressure there got us to lap 12, lap 11 super fast. How do we adjust now moving forward into the longer main event tomorrow? He'll start pole position, very likely will come out of the opening corner, hopefully with some clean air if you're part of Team Malkett. He's in great shape right now because he looks confident. The cart's perfect right now, and they know exactly what to do with tire pressure.
Yeah, and that's the position you want to be in. You do not want to go into that final tomorrow having question marks over anything. You want to go in and go, we got this.
Yeah, whatever decision you're going to make, make sure you're confident in it, right? Believe in the process. This is what we're going to do. Hey, we might be wrong, we might be right, but everything we've done throughout the day, working with Mike Doty and the crew there, everything you're doing, just making the right moves. You know, that's kind of what he's looking at. He's got Greg Bell with him as well. That's big stuff, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and it is huge for a confidence build for a driver, and that's exactly the word you want to have for a driver is confident coming into a run. All right, we are going to take a quick break away, going to pay a few bills. We'll be back with you as we get ready to go for ROK VLR Senior, that pre-final coming at you shortly. Welcome back to ROK Vegas. We are ready for ROK VLR Senior pre-final. Rob, take it away.
Chase Hand going to start on the pole position in this one, folks. 30 drivers able to get out of the craziness of the heat races. Chase Hand on the pole alongside Jeremy Fletcher. Jonathan Ports will start row number 2 alongside Sebastian Garzon will row 3 starting 5th and 6th. Colin Lloyd on the inside and Carlos Hernandez on the outside. Row number 4, Jake Drew. Keep an eye on him. He's very strong in the SV Pro category as well. Rookie senior Alexander Vanchev will start alongside him on row 4. Row 5, Johnny Stamps and Carter Herrera. Row 6, Dean Peterson and William Boutillier. Row 7, Jackson Menchu and Anthony Rivera. Row 8, Oliver Marak and Caleb Gafera. Santiago Fernandez will start alongside Alessandro Tertulio on row number 9. Gavin McCune and Quentin Angeli on row 10. Jesus Vasquez and James Overbeck on row number 11. We'll get the rest of the field later. We are green, racing their way in to turn number 1. Remember, pre-final here, all 30 of these drivers locked into the main event. This is all about improving on your position. The last thing you want to do is be 10th and find yourself 30th at the end of the day, changing your starting spot for the main by 20 or so spots. The best bet, if you can get a spot, take it. Otherwise, take care of the machinery.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. We got a cart off in the background. Not sure exactly who that was, but Jeremy Fletcher losing 2 positions off at the start. Starting in 2nd, falling down to 4th. That is a result of starting on that outside line. But if anybody can make up these moves, it's going to be Jeremy Fletcher. We've sung his praises all weekend long, and he's going to be on the attack here. He already is, ducking down and looking to the inside there on Colin Lloyd.
I'll tell you this, DJ, this reminds me, I know Jeremy's done all the work he's done now, the calmness you have to have in a Mazda MX-5 Cup race, in a Toyota GR Cup race, to keep yourself focused, knowing it's going to be pack racing all day long. This is the Jeremy Fletcher I remember from his dominant years in junior karting, his final years in junior, when he literally just looked like he thought he could win every race he came in. He's been so confident all weekend long. We've seen passes in turn 10 on the outside and the inside. I haven't seen another pass on the outside yet in this senior category. So I'll tell you, I think he is in incredible position. 100% the same for Jonathan Ports. He's an absolute rocket right now. Here comes Fletcher to the inside right there on Colin Lloyd. Chase Hand is your leader. He's been dominant. I love the drivers up front right now. This main event's going to be great. Jake Drew already +2, 7th. Up to 5th.
And that's exactly what you talked about. You want to be able to do that. By the way, this event sponsored by GFC. Massive thanks to them for sponsoring it. But Chase Hand dominant up the front thus far, but he's got close competition. Port's starting to close on in, and now with Fletcher in 3rd, that's going to cause those front 2 to have to look behind them every now and again. We've seen that Fletcher's preferred move is down into turn 1. That's where he really likes to get it done, and there's the look. That's what I was waiting for from Jonathan Ports, to check that out from behind. And check this, Rob. Even with that pass from Jeremy Fletcher, still goes purple on the last lap.
There's the move to the inside there. Right now, Jonathan Ports will take over the lead. Fletcher's going to get a better run on Hand, dive him into turn number 6, and Hand showing his maturity there, backing out of it, and then tuck it back into 3rd. We're talking about a 6-driver breakaway, so wherever you are in this group now, as they start to pull away, they have to start thinking about, okay, what are we doing here? Where am I going to start the main event? Hand wants to get back out front, but they're all trying to make sure that they get the best starting spot they can for the main event. Like you said, brand new sticker Levantos tomorrow, everybody on new boots, so the grip levels are going to be high. Last run here with these aging tires that have been around for a little bit here right now. They've worked them like crazy. There's a move there for Lloyd by Hand as well. This is going to be 6 drivers in this lead group. So it's a full almost 2 seconds back right now to Dean Peterson in 7th. Right now, the top 6 drivers ready to battle it out.
Yeah, this is where the battle is going to be. Ports leading over Fletcher. Fletcher decides not to take the move there. Whoa, almost 3 wide down into turn 8. That was a little bit spicy as they tried to sort themselves out. That was Lloyd and I think Hand going side by side.
Yeah, again, you see a guy like Chase Hand, who has kind of led the way, right? He doesn't like being back where he is right now, P4. He'll have to check himself a little bit, get himself focused back in, maybe the tire pressure a bit low. He knows who's going to come back to him. But right now, it's Ports up front, Fletcher 2nd, Lloyd 3rd, Drew 4th, Hand 5th, Sebastian Garzone 6th. That's your breakaway right now. 6 drivers, 1.5 second there, back to Dean Peterson. Any big movers further back? Chris Harrow up 5. Jesus Vasquez Jr. up 4. Nobody making big moves right now other than this big breakaway from the top 6 out front.
Yeah, and this is good news for them. This means they can fight it out a little bit and just kind of try to improve their position. Here comes a move down to the inside. That's going to be Chase Hand on Jake Drew. Looks like he was able to get that done. And now here comes my question. Are you thinking big brain about this? You've seen time and time again that outside line does not pay off for you. If you're running maybe Chase Hand's position in 4th, do you maybe fight a little bit more to get one of those odd number positions?
Again, here's even the other side of it. Would you give up a position to be on the inside?
Exactly.
Yeah, fighting, go from 4th to 3rd. Yeah, I'll drop the hammer and try to beat you. But do I maybe, you got past me in the last lap, so I don't want to be 4th on the outside of 5th. I lose in row, but I'm on the inside. There are drivers that would think that way for sure. And this track, kind of, as we've seen, it lends itself for a better start on the inside for sure. P2 is not where you want to start these races.
No, and I think that's going to add a little bit more fuel to the fire here, especially if you're Jeremy Fletcher trying to get by Jonathan Ports right now. He is really going to attack. Not that he wouldn't attack a lot already, exactly. But you know what I mean.
You're trying to give Jeremy a chance, a reason to attack. What are you talking about? But you're right. Like, listen, that pass from 2nd to 1st, you make it aggressive on that last lap because, hey, I don't want to start on the outside of the front row.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with Jeremy, he fell back 2-3 positions as a result of it, and that's got to factor into his head. So I think he is going to be definitely going for it here. Good run coming through turn 9. Look behind from Ports, not seeing Fletcher poke his nose out quite yet. They're now starting to get a little bit of a breakaway on the rest of this pack. To the tune here of about 0.5 of a second. That's what they need. They want to have that, especially if you're Jeremy Fletcher. That's going to open the door for you to take maybe a little bit more of an aggressive move.
I'm looking at who's got the hot hand right now. How about Sebastian Garzone? 42.520, fast driver on track there, P5. Only about 700s quicker, so not like he's anything big and making any big moves. He's P5 right now. He's right there behind Chase Hand, so we're not really seeing a lot in terms of a driver coming alive here on lap number 8. I'm going to say we probably got about 6 laps to go, 5 to 6 laps remaining here until we get to that, of course, 2 lap to go signal at the very end. Right now, these 2 drivers running up front very comfortably. Ports and Fletcher, you throw a hand in there. I would say those 3 drivers have kind of been the class of the field so far. Lloyd's been up in the top 3. Garzone's had some issues. He's been fast, but he had a couple of run-ins with drivers over in turn number 5 as well. Jake Drew, we know, has been there. There's not really anybody even deeper in the field right now that I think has been up there. The guys that are up front right now in the top 6 are probably there for a reason.
Yeah, they are the quickest ones, and obviously one of the fastest. Jeremy Fletcher down to the inside of turn 8. Looking for the crossover here is Jonathan Ports, but not able to get it done. Brilliant sneak attack there for Jeremy Fletcher. Ports now trying to fight back to the inside of turn 10. There may have been a little bit of bumping and banging there.
Yeah, see, this is what you don't do in a pre-final right now, but we talked about wanting to get that win, wanting to get that advantageous inside front row starting spot. But do you do it with, 3 laps to go? 4, probably, I would say 4 laps to go, maybe 5 actually now. They just came across in 45 seconds. We're doing 42-second laps. It could be 3, it could be 2. Could be 4 rather. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Fletcher, man, can you imagine if they had taken each other out over in turn number 10? The fireworks would have went off. Here's a big move. Colin Lloyd going to the inside. Book it. He's able to get by Ports, who tucks back into 3rd. Fletcher says, thank you so much. I'll take 4 kart lengths down into turn number 10.
And that's got to be frustrating if you're Jonathan Ports. That's the 2nd time in as many laps that you've had the exact move thrown on you, and not to mention the fact that he tried to do the crossover coming into turn 9, and it just didn't play out.
I'll tell you this, Garzone has got by as well. Look at this. Garzone is by hand, and you know Sebastian, equally as aggressive. If he gets there, he's going to throw it in as well. Big over-under here. Watch for him to try to throw it in. Little block move by Ports. He throws to the side. Down to the inside comes Garzone. Makes the pass in turn number 6. Ports going backwards right now. Garzone covers off the bottom. Here comes Hand. 3 laps to go. We should see the 2 to go sign. Next time by, over a half a second the lead right now for Fletcher. That's going to extend because the gloves are off in the pre-final here. Lloyd, Ports, Garzone, Hand, and Drew ready to fight it out for the positions inside the top 6.
They are absolutely sending it here at this point. Let's see if Garzone decides to get a little bit frisky coming down into turn 1. He decides not to. He's going to hold on to it. Problem there with the timing and scoring screen. We'll get that up to date when we can. But right now, it looks like Lloyd's holding off to the best of his ability.
And that's just it. He's going to have to work. Garzone looks to the inside. Oh, Garzone got a little touch, I think, coming through there. I tell you, I don't think real. Oh, big slider to the inside. He tried to cross it up. Trouble there for both Ports and Lloyd.
Oh,
and look at DeTulio trying to come around them both. He had the thing locked up and cross-rotated back the other way. Great save there, though, I'll tell you, for Colin Lloyd. It's all going to go in the wrong direction for him. Out of turn number 13. They'll come across the line. 1 to go. Fletcher, your leader. Move Chase Hand back into 2nd. Garzone 3rd. Drew 4th. It's Herrera, Peterson, Van Chev, and DeTulio who take full advantage of that. Here comes the over-under from Garzone. Hand blocked to the inside. They'll come back through turn number 5, over to turn 6 and turn 7. Great stuff here right now. Hand's going to send her deep. Not enough.
Not enough, but here comes Jake Drew trying to fight back on it. He looks for that crossover, doesn't play, but he's going to tuck right in the line, tucking down, trying to minimize that drag. Hand covers off the inside. There he looks back on it, not able to do it. Drew still fighting for it with Hand. They're going to not be able to sort themselves out, and it looks like the 907 there is going to, 927 of Hand's going to be able to hold off to 3rd place. Fletcher will take the win over Garzone. Chase Hand, Jake Drew, Dean Peterson, your top 5.
Woo! I'll tell you, Jeremy Fletcher, a yawner the last couple of laps as he was out there all by himself. Sebastian Garzone went at him. Hand blocked to the inside at turn number 5. Garzone, a super over-under. Hand had to check back up. I was going to say, the shot that we have of them coming through turn 7 and 8 from the back, you see how much of a transition that is. It is so fast going through that part of the racetrack as they transition out of 7 to 8. Man, that was good stuff. Jake Drew ends up in 4th. Dean Peterson, Alexander Vanchev, Carter Herrera, and Alessandro DeTulio, the 4 drivers that cashed in on Colin Lloyd. Do we have that on replay? I'm not sure if we got that or not.
You read my mind. I was waiting for it.
He came into the, I don't know if he got hit, but into the braking zone. Sometimes you'll see drivers do like a counter rotation where they brake and they almost go the other direction and flick it back through to the corner. Watch as he comes through here. I'm not sure if he got hit or if he was trying that counter rotation. Watch him coming through. See the counter rotation? And it just didn't snap back for him.
Yeah.
He started the rotation and couldn't get it to snap back. And he was just along for the ride at that point, down to the inside of the racetrack where there wasn't the grip he probably needed.
Yep.
Tried to kick the counter. Man, that was... I'm telling you, the main event's going to be so great.
Oh.
We'll be biding our time for the first 3 quarters.
And then it's all going to fire off.
It's going to be on. Oh, my goodness. That was fantastic.
All right, let's head down to our third member of our commentary team, Jackson Lambros.
Trackside here with Jeremy Fletcher. A brilliantly boring race towards the tail end there, but you've clearly got something dialed in this Mike Manning machine. What's gelled for you so well behind the wheel of this 913?
Yeah, I mean, the whole Mike Manning powered team over here, they're all such great people. It's just such a good environment. Vibes are good, go-kart's good, power's amazing, and I kind of just got to steer this thing some way around a racetrack, and I think we can hopefully get it done tomorrow. It was calm, and I like calm, especially when we come away with it, but I wanted to push Jonathan there, try to get away. They kind of sat there, and were kind of staying with us, so I tried to make a move as clean as I could, try to get a quick breakaway, and it kind of played in our favor.
Probably a 10-cart furball right behind you. What do you think it's going to take for you to be able to clear that tomorrow and try and get victory here?
I mean, I don't think there's anything to just drive away from these guys. Everyone here is good. Everyone here is fast. So definitely going to be a little bit of luck, and hopefully we can get some of that.
We appreciate it, Jeremy. Let's talk about the winner of that furball, though, and it was indeed Sebastian Garzone, who really, really cleared it. Garzone, phenomenal sequence at the end there. Walk me through it.
Yeah, like the whole race, I was behind the leading pack, like just trying to be with them the whole race. And then when they start to fight, just like to have the opportunities that I had, and I take it, and really good. My car was really good, and tomorrow we will work harder to get the win.
To charge from the back to get to the front row, how much of a confidence boost is this for you guys?
Like to be in the front, it's too much. Like for me, it's really good because I know I can fight with them that are so really good drivers. Like I'm 15, I'm fighting with so old drivers. So yeah, I'm super happy, and let's work for tomorrow to get the win.
We appreciate it, guys. Your front row tomorrow for the VLR Senior Final. And guys, it still feels like this is anyone's game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there on that, Jackson. It is very, very much up in the air. But we've got to shift our brains a little bit, not literally. We head to the micros here at this point. ROK Micro headed out on track. Excited to see this one, Rob, the pre-final here for them. Lennox Lockhart has been the story in the last 2 races. Let's see if we can keep it going.
Yeah, heat number 4 for Micro. Then we'll have the final heat for the Shifter Masters and Super Masters. Lennox Lockhart starting on the pole again. He's had a great weekend so far. Liam Francisco the same. That's their front row. Chase Rittering stepped things up in race number 3. He'll start P3 alongside Aiden Go. Alvaro Medeiros and Samuel Chavari on row number 3. Bo Wyatt alongside Jack Katowski on row 4, and Axel Tibbs and Ajax Capitan Garduna on row number 5. That's 9th and 10th. Ramirez, Santos, Cladera, Shiflett, Astalis, and Francisco behind them. Lights are out and we're racing down into turn number 1. Big run from the outside. See who holds it coming through. A little bit wider, maybe 3 wide further deep. They'll come into turn number 5 now. Let's hope for a clean start here as they work their way out. One driver getting shuffled back a little bit up front. Otherwise, the first time they come into turns 6 and 7, they get themselves through there cleanly. And not surprisingly, folks, looks like we have the 14 of Lockhart up front.
Yeah, Lockhart up front, Rittering behind, and Medeiros in third, it looks like. Some good battles through the rest of the pack. The top 5 separated out into single file order. I think that's Francisco and Chavari holding themselves in that top 5. Lennox Lockhart flicking his way through the corner. Really good run there for him as they come out through turn 13, but watch out for Rittering here. He is close behind Lockhart. Thought about a move down to the inside. Chavari is in P4. Francisco down in P5. That is part of that breakaway, but the real breakaway is up at the front with Lockhart and Rittering.
Yeah, I think, DJ, obviously Chase's run there in heat race number 3 is giving him some confidence, right? He goes, hey, listen, I can run up here. This is where I need to be. He and Lockhart pulling away. When he was behind Lockhart there, I'd said in the race, listen, I want to see Chase Rittering make a pass for the lead. I think he needs that for himself. You don't want to be second the whole time. You know Lockhart's been fast. Take the lead at one point, and he did that, which was fantastic, right? So now he's got the confidence that they can run up front. You know, they probably made just a couple little tweaks on that cart to make it better for him. Trouble there for the number 11 of Wiley Lee. But indeed, Rittering has shown it again. He and Lockhart hoping to try to pull away, and they've got a bit of a gap. They need a four-pack behind them. Medeiros, Francisco, Chavari, and Westbrook. And remember, Dutch Westbrook turned the fastest lap of the race. From deeper in the pack in heat race number 3, he's already up 5, started 11th. Fast lap in heat 3. He's got the fast lap already as well, P6.
Yeah, it's a good run for him. There we see Lockhart starting to get a little bit of an advantage over Rittering. Rittering closes it down in through turn 8, now through turn 9. That very, very fast, flat-out chicane. Little bit of a defensive line there behind with Medeiros and Francisco. Francisco on a charge here early on.
Yeah, he is up a couple of spots, no doubt about that. The number 20, Liam Francisco, looking very good here. Again, the last opportunity for these drivers before we go main event racing tomorrow. 2-driver breakaway, and Rittering had to look over the shoulder to see what kind of a gap it was. 1.2, probably 1.088 is the actual time between second and third. Look at the battle further back here as well. Francisco there on the number 20 leading the way. Medeiros in the 10. Dutch Westbrook in the 33. He's now up into 5th spot. He gets by Chevary as well. So Dutch Westbrook playing off the success of heat race number 3 to get himself up to where he needs to be able to battle into the lead group early.
Yeah, and he is really pushing ahead. That's Westbrook actually taking a look to the inside, thought about it, decided not to go for it. Lockhart, Rittering up at the front. Francisco still leads that group. That's the 33 there of Westbrook. He has been able to get the pass done on Medeiros, so move Westbrook up into P4. They cross over the line. Westbrook looking on the attack. Well defended there from Liam Francisco to be able to hold that off. Now looking to the outside. Oh, we've got a cart off into the outside.
Crew jumping quickly over to get to him. I want to say that is potentially coming out of turn number 9. Yeah, turn 8 rather. So as they come through 7, here's 8. The driver to me looks like he's potentially just off the track on the exit, but to the inside of that track. They've already got him taken care of. Shout out to the ROK Cup USA track staff for getting that card over and out of the barriers to get that driver out of harm's way.
Yeah, some of the best in the business here to make sure safety is of the priority for all of these carters. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock as Lockhart continues to lead. The gap between Lockhart, Rittering, and Francisco has grown. Now here comes Dutch Westbrook down to the inside of Francisco. Francisco has to give up the ghost a little bit, concede line to Dutch Westbrook, and now Westbrook is able to pull ahead into P3.
Yeah, great run for Westbrook. Remember, started back at the 11th position, so he is +8 already, now up into the 3rd position. So Westbrook digging here right now. Now we'll start leaning into the splits. Where are you? Because we've got probably 5 laps remaining here on this one. As Lennox Lockhart leads, he was actually the fastest driver on the track, and he is dragging Chase Rittering with him because Chase is right there leveraging the draft, sticking right with him here. Both those drivers, their last laps were separated by, or their fast laps separated by about 0.07 of a second. Their fast laps actually was Rittering on the last lap quicker by about 1/10. So indeed, those front drivers are leaning into exactly what they did in heat race number 3. Now, here's what I will say. If I'm Chase Rittering, doesn't need to lead this one right now.
No.
If he wants, he showed he can. I don't know points-wise if he wins this. Could he take the pole? That's the only difference. I'm sure the team has done some math back there to try to figure out where he is in terms of results. But the bottom line is, for him, a solid result here. Even P2 is going to lock him into somewhere in the top 2 rows.
Yeah, let's go down and check in with Jackson, who's got an update for us.
Yeah, guys, quick carnage update for you because, yes, a couple of guys out. One we just missed, however, was Trey Sanders, the number 3 for Nash Motorsports, had a mighty lick in between turns 1 and 2. But just as you mentioned, those ROK Cup USA track marshals making quick work and not just fixing those barriers, but getting him back on track. Andres Marcelo, also one of them. Thomas Ordonez makes it 4 down here, DJ.
Rough run for everybody down there, but I want to throw another postulate here to you, Rob. If I'm Chase Rittering, I may want to stay behind Lennox Lockhart for another reason. I want to learn what Lockhart is doing. I think Rittering's got the speed to be able to get by him, but I think what Rittering wants to do is figure out where Lockhart is slow.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. What happens if these guys hook up again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right? I don't have Chase's all his runs in front of me. We know that Lennox has been up front. Is he going to start on the outside of the front row, Chase Rittering, or is he going to start 3rd or 4th? If he locks up with Lockhart again, you want to know you've raced with this guy quite a bit. Like, you've had a chance on this track to push him. Where are his weaknesses? Am I better here? If I'm better here, it's going to allow me to get a run from here to pass there. Going to school for sure. Yeah, we're asking a lot out of the micro drivers, the youngest drivers in the paddock. But I get asked all the time when I'm at IndyCar races or USF races, about the state of karting nowadays. And I'll say you come out to one of these races and watch these kids in the micro category. It will blow you away how they manage a race, strategy, make moves. It's absolutely impressive.
Oh, a little bit of a train run on there on the number 20. Unfortunately, that was our number 10. Excuse me. That was Francisco, who's now all the way back in the order. Dutch Westbrook holding on to that top position. That's a little bit of what we talked about. If you just get off ever so slightly, it can run you back down, and I believe that is him back down to 7th position. All right, here we go. Last lap, white flag in the air. Little bit of a hip check there for Rittering and Lockhart. They're going to be side by side through 4. Does Lockhart able to hold it? Yes, he is, going through turn 5.
Well, I'll tell you, Chase Rittering went to the inside, gave him a little bit of a chrome horn, and tried to go side by side through turn number 2. Amazing stuff. Okay, what do we got now? He's not there in turn number 8. Going to be tough to make the pass right now. What do we got on Lockhart? Now, here's Lockhart's going to show his defense move. Another opportunity for Rittering to see what he does. All the way to the bottom, right behind the Brandon Jarsa Crack Racing logo. Into the inside comes Rittering. Book it. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack, and he hold it through. He does through turn number 12 and 13. How about a last lap pass in turn number 10? Chase Rittering going to get a victory.
And he's pumped about it. Look at that slap in the cart. He was a happy, happy boy. Westbrook will come home in P3. Medeiros and Chavari in P5. Katowski 6th. Francisco 7th. Go, Tibbs, and Wyatt round out your top 10.
And what did you say? Hey, maybe he doesn't need to go for the lead. Maybe he wants to learn a bit here. He just learned exactly what the defense move was for Lockhart, how he could get by. If it happens again tomorrow, we're going to come back to heat race number 4 and say that's where Chase Rittering learned how to get that done.
Exactly. I'm really impressed here with Chase Rittering. And obviously, Lennox Lockhart. A lot of speed shown from both of those drivers. But I think specifically Chase Rittering's patience paying off in the long run.
Let's give a shout out to George Ho for SLA Karting, plus 15. Started 31st, drove his way up into 16th. That's definitely going to help him in his starting spot tomorrow. Well done for George Ho.
Yeah, good running there for him. As we look back through the rest of the order there, obviously Penna and Wiley Lee, 2 of those karters that we saw off early. As we reset here and get ready to go, now we will officially shift gears as we will head for Rock Shifter Masters and Super Masters. That's going to be presented by Speed Concepts Racing and VTM Engines. Massive, massive thanks to them. See if we can get maybe a quick commercial break in here before we head on over to that, and while the track gets reset. So while they reset everything, we will go ahead and take that quick break away.
And yes, it's Rock Shifter Masters, Super Masters, 355.
Rock the Rio is an international event, and all of the biggest teams in the country come out here to race each other.
I mean, I love karting because it's all I've known since age 8.
Best sport out there. You know, it's extremely hard to master. You're always learning something. You got to be on your game on all fronts, or you're not running up front.
I became very religious the last couple laps.
Further back, there's contact against the wall.
I'm out of the first turn on the last lap and I smacked the wall. I'll tell you, the last lap was full of emotion. And cried like a baby.
So to win Vegas, you just have to be perfect. You not only have to be extremely fast, but you simply cannot make mistakes.
Vegas, if I could win again, means a lot. I have all my family that come out for that race, so when everyone's there, there's a bit more pressure, but it means a lot. It's the Super Bowl of karting.
I think we have a chance at winning, but we are going to have to work at it.
It's still the biggest race that I've ever won, as far as the bucket list item.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
All right, we jump back into live pictures. DJ Clark and Rob Howden up here in the commentary booth. Rock Shifter Masters and Super Masters getting ready to take to the track. And Rob, this is where age and experience really does come into play for a lot of these drivers. These are your older drivers, but in the shifter carts, they know how to make these things work.
Yeah, indeed. They've raced for many, many years. Some of the guys, yes, racing a lot of years. Others, no, just found the sport a little later in life and have dove into shifter kart racing. Love banging gears, love the actual physical nature of driving a shifter kart, and that's why we see so many drivers still running in the shifter kart categories. We're looking forward to a good lineup of drivers. And we will say this. We had some excitement in heat race number 3. A couple of guys got together, teammates at Ron White Racing, to be honest. Kevin Woods got together there with Patrick O'Neill. Patrick coming across the bow on the standing start. So I'm sure they've had a discussion. Although Patrick's going to be starting at the tail of the field this time. It's going to be interesting for him.
Yeah, and I'm going to be interested to see how well he's able to work his way through the field. That's going to be something that I think is going to keep us very entertained as this race goes along. Not that we're going to need any more entertainment because it does get a little bit insane out there.
Well, speaking of insane, we are one race away from the LCQs. Let's put it that way. 30 drivers transferred through to those 2 pre-finals for VLR Junior and Senior. We just wrapped those up. The remainder of the field is now running in LCQs. Only 10 drivers will transfer from those through to the main event. So that bubble position, P10, is going to be crazy for sure. Those coming up momentarily. We've got the Rock Shifter Masters and Super Masters, as DJ had said, getting ready to roll on track. I think I saw they just fired things up. So they'll be rolling on track momentarily as well. And Hunter Hagenbuck was a driver who was able to come away with the win in the Masters category overall as well after all that chaos we had at the start.
All right, and let's head down to Jackson Lambros. Jackson's got a really good update for some of the eagle-eyed viewers that have noticed something that happens on the start procedure. Jackson.
So if you guys in the audience are a TikTok endeavorer like myself, a 23-year-old, you might have seen some clips of people being confused as to why some of the shifter drivers roll those tires back on the start. Now, there's a plethora of reasons why they do it. Kind of goes down to 2 main ones. Kind of to remove the attention in the chain. Some drivers call it preloading, but again, with these being chain drives, kind of like a rope, it can be not fully taut, have a little bit of slack, and you want to have that as straight as possible, as tight as possible when you launch off the line. I asked Kevin Woods if that was the point, and he was like, yes, but also no, and put a glove on top of his tire. He had to give it a good amount of tug there for that to fully get off of the tire. So it's not as sticky as the European tires, as so I'm told, but even if it sits in the scale lines a little bit, those tires can get sticky here in this Vegas sun. Just a couple of reasons here for why we're going to see guys rolling back a little bit on the grid.
Yeah, I like the second one where you're kind of pulling back and forth. You don't want it to lock down what you've set there, especially if you're up the front right now. You think about all the guys in the back. It takes a while a lot of times for a full grid, maybe of 30 carts to get in there. You're going to want to reach back a bit, just give it a little untuck to pull it off. I love that. You see right there, the 522, that's what he's talking about there. Just rolling it around a little bit. Field is set. There's being told we're coming to the lights here right now. Great shot here from the back, and you'll see the lights go on, and when they go out, they drop the hammer. One driver getting a little bit of a jump start further back. That is O'Neill getting off the line for the tail of the field as well, but the whole shot goes. Looks to be like Kevin Woods coming out of the gate from P2 outside of the front row. The CRG driver gets the whole shot. He puts Hagenbuck into second position.
Yeah, and that was a really good start for Woods. He needed to do that to be able to get himself some breathing room in between himself and Morn Van Tak to try to just breathe as much as possible. Patrick O'Neill already gained up 1 position through the field. He's up into 11th as things run, so he's going to keep pushing ahead. Here's Van Tak trying to get his way on by Quinones, and it looks like Van Tak is going to be able to do that and move the South African up into P3.
Yeah, he went on the attack very quickly. Warren Van Tak in the 68 wanted to get by Quinones up into 3rd position and ready to get at it. You'll see drivers moving further back there. That's a great run there. I think that's Ryan Coberly as well on that RS card, getting a good run to the inside, gets a spot early on. The opening lap's always the best opportunity to overtake somebody. You're close, you can make a move, they're on the outside of whatever it may be in terms of how they're approaching a corner. If you can dive in, you make the move. You do the best you can to try to get any spot you can early. Coberly works his way up, I think P5.
Yeah, good move there. Not for position necessarily, as if you are watching along on YouTube, those orange markers next to the name, that represents the Super Masters category. The blue represents the Masters category, but still, if you're driving, you want to be in front of the people in front of you. It's just natural driver instinct.
Yeah, there's overall, right? You still want to be the overall fastest guy. This is the Masters category for 32 years of age and older. The Supermaster for 45 years of age and older. And there's a couple drivers together. The 67 of Ryan Coberly. We just talked about him. Who is he in there with right now? Trying to pick up a number for you. That'll be it for Coberly. Both those drivers buried. I think that's coming out of turn number 2 in that 3-4 combination potentially. Just waiting for the number to get in there. We can tell you which other drivers involved. They'll work their way back around, coming up to the front straightaway here. Trouble there. Ryan Coberly had a great run going. You hate to see it end early with the contact there over in turn number 3.
All right, battle up here for the top position, however, still continues to be fierce as Woods has been closed in a little bit by Hagenbuch and Morn von Tock. It looks like that was Coberly and I think Sergio Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Yeah, so those were the two. Patrick O'Neill update, he is up to 6th, by the way, so he is moving and grooving his way through the field, but this battle that we watch right now, great run there from Morn von Tock. Let's see if he's able to get a run down into turn 10.
Looks like, I think Kevin Woods may have ripped a bit of tape off the radio there. You saw his arm throw up in the air. A lot of times they'll put a tape or they'll have a guard on the radio where they can raise it up and down, all about trying to maintain the engine temperature. With that, of course, these are liquid-cooled power plants, 125 cc, 6-speed sequential gearbox. If you're at home just picking this up, 0 to 60 in probably under 3.5 seconds. The braking equally is impressive with 4-wheel brakes, 2 disc brakes on the front tires, and 1 on the solid rear axle.
All right, von Tock again looking very strong through turn 8. Trying to push ahead, maybe a little bit of a poke to the outside. He took a look down into turn 1 on the last lap. Let's see if he tries it again. It's all really going to come down to the run here out of turn 12, and it looks like he gets a great one. Tighter line through the corner than Hagenbuch, but I think Hagenbuch is going to be able to hold on, and von Tock not going for it again. This is a little bit of what I saw in that previous race from Morn. Not as aggressive as you would think he'd be. He's a little bit more cautious.
Well, I think probably knowing what happened already with Kevin Woods and primarily Patrick O'Neill, he's probably going to be the outside of the front row starter, right? Maybe P3 at the very worst for Morn. Doesn't need to throw it away here, knowing it's not really going to affect likely where he starts. Patrick O'Neill up to P5, by the way, with the fast lap of the race of 40.945. So O'Neill working his way from the very tail of the field, trying to pick up the back part of the screen to see if he's close enough. No, the front 3 drivers have checked out pretty good. Yeah, in fact, he's probably 3 seconds behind the leaders there, trying to work his way back forward. Luis Quiones will be the best thing I think he'll probably be able to get over the course of this race.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's 3 seconds, 3.6 seconds from O'Neill up to Kevin Woods. So that's going to be a little bit much to make up in 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps. But if he gets a P4, I'd call that a pretty good recovery drive on the day.
Yeah, again, trying to recover from the issues from race number 3 based on the speed he had in race 1 and 2. He's still going to probably start in the front 2 or 3 rows. That's all he really needs to do to get a good jump and put himself where he needs to be. Right now, I'll say this, Hagenbuch has been showing very good pace in terms of running with Kevin Woods as well. On pace, only a couple of tenths of a second back. Von Tock waiting to pull the trigger. You can tell that Hagenbuch kind of running the inside there as well. Von Tock just not with the pace to be able to get by, and loses a bit coming out of 5 there, DJ. That would have been a great place. If he could get out of 5 cleaner and get a better run coming through turn number 7, might be able to get the run in turn number 8. But right now, still kind of content to stay right there with him. It's not like Kevin Woods is getting away right now either.
No, Hagenbuch's doing a good job of keeping that gap down. It's about 0.5 of a second. Von Tock, I think, is just content.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting here out of the South African driver. He doesn't look like he's trying to push too hard. He's going to take the opportunity if it comes to him, but he doesn't feel the need to push too far ahead. Good run here down the front straightaway, but again, not quite close enough to make it work. He's going to just keep in behind here. O'Neill, by the way, has closed it down to 1/10 of a second on Quinones, and that gap has expanded up to 4 seconds as they run.
1, 2, 3. On top of each other, 0.8 of a second separate the top 3 drivers. Kevin Woods and Morn von Tock in the Supermasters 45 and plus category. Hunter Hagenbuch running the Masters class, 32 years of age and older, and is leading that way. 2nd place overall right now, but leading the Masters standings over Luis Quiones, Jesus Lopez, and Sergio Rodriguez. Rodriguez and Ryan Coberly out early on, again, lap number, 2. So these top 3 drivers just looking to bang out another result. We'll see how they'll line up for the main event tomorrow.
Now, and just see where they do. Now for the top three, change back farther. I think Jesus Lopez and Corey Eberhardt changed position. No, excuse me, it was Eberhardt and Soliotis. They're 9th and 10th swapped around a little bit. O'Neill has been able to get by Quinones, and so that's going to be the gap at 4.5 seconds. I'm going to keep my eye on that and see what he's able to do. If he's able to close that down a little bit more, that's going to be indicative to me that he's got a lot of pace, which we know he does.
He does.
But how much of a lot of pace does he have?
And right now, he's not going to get any help with battling up front, even though Hagenbuck is right there with Kevin Woods. He hasn't pulled the trigger at all, holding on to the spot. Oh, I thought Van Tok was going to make a move to the inside there. He had a look at it, but just didn't quite have the run coming out of turn number 4. We will have a look at Patrick O'Neill. Remember, all 12 of these drivers are going to run tomorrow on Sunday. Not the case with the next 2 races. Last chance qualifiers coming for VLR Junior and VLR Senior. The senior race is going to be a massive field, 35 plus. And remember, only 10 qualify straight through. So anybody who doesn't make it out of the LCQ will be looking forward to 2026 to see what they can do at ROK Vegas next year, because their weekend will be done. The LCQs are going to put 10 more drivers in. I'm telling you, that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grouping, that bubble spot to transfer in, it always gets exciting if you know you got to make one pass to make it to Sunday.
Yep, that's all you got to do. So we'll keep our eye on that, just as we're keeping our eye on this battle. 2 laps to go at the line for Kevin Woods is what it looks like. Van Tok, again, just not quite close enough to make a move here into turn 12, although this can be a big overtaking opportunity. We've said it before, these karts get down into the gears a little bit more. You can drive off the line better, so 10 does become a better overtaking opportunity than in other machinery.
It'll be interesting to see when the results come out. I just have a feeling with Van Tok not really forcing the issue, I think you might have a feeling he's already kind of got second place locked in, or second or third, whether it's outside of the front row or inside of row 2. It doesn't really matter. You're going to get out of the gate and be able to go at it. Kevin Woods looking, of course, to lock down the pole position here. Good stuff right now with these 3 drivers. I'll say this, though. They have been on top of each other the entire time. It was 0.8 of a second. It's less than 0.6 of a second. They're essentially nose to tail. This is good stuff for both Super Masters and Masters Racing. Woods is going to get the white flag this next time by. It'll be 1 to go for the CRG driver.
All right, he powers to the front line, takes that obligatory look behind him to see where Hagenbuck is, just to get an idea of exactly what it is. Now he's going to be able to focus forward as he comes through into turn 5. By the way, the gap back to Patrick O'Neill only come down a couple of tenths here. It's a 4.1 seconds, so I've got to imagine Patrick's not pushing too hard. Now they come in through turn 8, the long left-hander. Let's see here if Hagenbuck or if Van Tok decide to make a big run down into turn 10. No, they're going to stay in single file order and make it on through, Rob.
Just a nice, easy, clean run through here for heat race number 4 for all 3 of these drivers. Hagenbuck definitely put some pressure on, got close coming across the line. Not quite enough. Kevin Woods is going to get the win. Hagenbuck comes in second. Warren Van Tok in third. Patrick O'Neill up 8 spots, started dead last P12, ends up in 4. So O'Neill will be starting very likely somewhere within the top 2, maybe 3 rows. So he'll be ready to attack the lead group as well. Corey Matthews in 5th, Luis Quinones in 6th spot, Edgardo Ortiz 7th, Jesus Lopez in 8th, Corey Eberhardt 9th, Chris Salutius in 10th, and Sergio Rodriguez and Ryan Coberly, as we know, out after 2 laps. I'll say this, as you can look at it, we're looking at Woods, Hagenbuck, Van Tok, and O'Neill. Those top 4 drivers are the ones that I think have the pace to at least run up front. Kevin Woods is going to be the outright driver to beat. It looks like Hagenbuck, barring any kind of an issue, would come away with the win in the Masters category. Luis Quinones needs a little pace if he wants to try to beat him today.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to catch up a little bit more. But we're going to transition over to our man on the ground, Jackson Lambros, who's got some stories for us to follow.
And DJ, for 40-plus drivers across VLR Junior and Senior, the horrors of Halloween have carried over into November 1st, as it is time for the last chance qualifier. As you two have mentioned, 10th place and above, you're in. Anything else, and it's go home and try again next year. And we're looking right now through our mobile camera, a great example of that level of desperation. Only one time this weekend can drivers switch onto a new tire, and we're able to see that right here with an IndyCar term, the stickers, which tell us the labels of what tires they're designated, who they're delivered to, what their standard rate of usage is, and for a lot of guys, those just naturally wear off. So we don't know if everybody is going to move on to these new tires. By and large, a good chunk of these guys will, just to get that insurance, get that extra grip. But again, showing the desperation and talking to a lot of the drivers, the desperation is repeated in that 3-step process of getting in. Survive lap 1, throw haymakers, and if you're not in top 10, repeat step 2.
Yeah, that's about right. No doubt about that. An interesting call again. We've talked about this before. You weigh it. You're going to run the race. You're obviously going to burn off your stickers, or do you want to be fast in the main event? Like, it's, again, remember, if you win, you're 31st. Right. It's not like you're going to be ready to battle for a top 10. That's an interesting call. Again, good stuff there for Jackson Lambros. Patrolling both pit lane, the grid, and the scales for us. Doing a tremendous job for us here. Bright future in motorsports commentary, no doubt, for Jackson Lambros. But the bottom line is, hey, listen, I want to race tomorrow.
Yep.
You put the stickers on.
Yeah,
right?
You've got to go for broke here. And I think Jackson hit the nail on the head. You're throwing haymakers. You are throwing everything you can at the wall to get into that top 10. And likewise, if you are sitting 10th, your elbows are as wide as your body. You are not going to let anybody by you.
That's exactly that. That looks to me like the senior drivers getting ready to go. So the junior drivers for their race will already be on the pre-grid getting ready to roll out. Only 3 more races to go. How about this? We'll start with the LCQs, and we'll cap it all off with the final heat race for the ROK SV Pro guys. All 50 of them, so many massively big names in our sport, have put the hammer down. We saw some drivers up front that have been very impressive. Good stuff here right now.
All right, we're going to go back down to Jackson, who's got even more updates for us.
So we talk about that bubble of getting within the top 10, and off rip, it's going to be all eyes on that rocket racing machine of Jackson Hermanson. And Rob, you've witnessed plenty in LCQ. I'm curious from your end what the kind of anticipated energy is going to be on this. Is it just going to be, if you're in the top 10, work together and try and push forward? Or is it kind of maybe try and defend and just hold everybody back? What are we expecting to see here over the next 2 heats?
You know, Jackson, I would say that I would like to expect that the drivers, once they're running first, second, third, and fourth, realize that they're in transfer spots and they just kind of work together and we're good. I don't care if I start 31st or 34th. But oftentimes, we have seen guys take each other out for third or for fourth. A lot of times the transition is only 6 drivers. This is a larger group to transfer through to an LCQ, 10 drivers in total. But you can see guys in 5th or 6th take each other out, already locked and loaded into the main event. You oftentimes wish and hope they would have the right mindset. Sometimes they don't. Let's have a look at the grid of the drivers getting set to go here in Junior. 22 of them will take the green. 10 will race on Sunday. It will be Lewis Dilley starting on the pole alongside Case and Hodge. James Tuford and Declan Dionerine on row number 2. Rodolfo Lavin and Mason Moses on row 3. Jorge Mendez alongside Tyron Scott on row 4. Keegan Ellsworth and Jackson Elefante on row 5. Elefante currently on the bubble. Bristol Boardman and Juan Paramo on row 6. Marco Romero and Troy Ferguson on row 7. 2 drivers we would expect to be up in the fight. Robert Tronky Jr. and Zach Monahan, row 8. Melville Dos Santos and Angelo Adkins, row 9. Alexander Savage and Achilles Sferico on row number 10. And away we go, 22 drivers. You got to lick the stamp and send it on the opening lap. If you're deep in the field, you got to get yourself back up. That didn't work for the 827 of Robert Trunky Jr.
That's probably going to be a death sentence there for Trunky Jr., but he's going to still fight back to the best of his ability. Lewis Dilley, though, with a brilliant getaway. I think that was Declan that was able to close in behind him. And already we're seeing wheels out and banging wheels as they work their way down through turn 9. Now into the braking zone for turn 10 for the first time. Defensive line farther back in the field.
And again, if you're up front, you just want to get clean to the first lap or 2 laps. Everything all is going to happen behind you. If you're 6th or 7th right now, just take a deep breath. Look at the top 5 here right now. You've got this. It's done. Just settle in, push, and stay up front. The last thing you want to do is throw a haymaker on somebody when you're running 5th or 6th. These drivers here just run together. You're in the show. Stay out of trouble. Juan Paramo, the driver coming across the line in the 10th position. That's the transfer. We'll keep an eye on P10. That is the driver who will go to race on Sunday. P11 you're done for the weekend.
That was Mendez sending a move on Levine there. Very nice move down into turn 8. That is a popular overtaking opportunity that we have seen. But Kason Hodge, setting down the early set here, 44.8. Very, very quick time. He's pulling away at the front of the field.
Yeah, great job for Kason Hodge, no doubt about it. The Speed Sense Motorsports driver leading the way, 0.8 of a second out front. Now just get into the groove as they're banging out the laps. Tuford, Mendez, Levine, and Dilly. Lewis Dilly up into 5th. It's now Melville Dos Santos into the 10th spot as Paramo's gone up a position. Jackson Elefante on the outside looking in. Who else is moving their way forward? Troy Ferguson already up 7 spots, started 20th. He's up into 6th position. Great job for Troy Ferguson. +7 as well for Dos Santos. He started 17th. He made his way to the bubble in just 2 laps.
And that, I've got to think Dos Santos is going to be able to move his way a little bit further. Ferguson, as you said, setting the fastest lap of the race. This is the battle for P2. Trufford, Mendez, Levine, Dilly, and Ferguson trying to all hold on to this the best that they can. Ferguson crosses the line with the fastest lap. That'll be a good notch for him in his belt. Now Juan Paramo is going to be able to steal that away as it looks like Dos Santos is able to hold on to P10.
I'll tell you this right now, the drivers right now, 2, 3, 4, 5, impressing me so far. They're just running together, not trying to press each other. No one's showing a nose. You don't want to force anybody into a mistake that could collect you. Yeah, you think, hey, well, maybe I'll force him into a mistake. What if he loops it, gets into a barrier, and collects you with him? Right now, if you're 4th, the driver running P4 here, further than that line, just hang out. That's all the only goal here is to make Sunday, not to try to start 31st or 32nd or 33rd. Just make sure you're on the grid for the big show.
Oh, a little bit of a move there from Mendez on Trufford, and there it is.
What did I tell you? The 831 of Jorge Alejandro Ferran Mendez tried it, made a move to the inside. He was locked and loaded. I hate it that what I just kind of foreshadowed came to be.
Yeah.
It happens. These drivers, they're already in a position. Why would you force the issue? And listen, Jackson Elefante is going to be the benefactor now. He's going to move up into the 10th spot. Mendez is going to go to the tail of the field. It's so frustrating for me because I've watched these for 20-something years, and you're already in the show. It doesn't matter if you're 1 spot forward. Just stay out of trouble and bring it home.
Yeah, so that's going to reshuffle that top 10, as you said. It's going to move them around. Ellsworth is now into the top 10. Let's go take a quick replay at exactly what happened. Try to break this down a little bit, Rob.
You're going to see him just push to the inside. He's going to try to make a pass. Late move to the inside of turn number 1. Not quite there. Got some room. Right front to left rear contact. And the minute those tires catch each other, up in the air you go. And it just didn't need to happen. Again, you should never even have moved. It's almost like Top Gun, man. You got your wingman. Just stay with them. Don't make any mistakes, right? And just be there. You can't make that kind of mistake in an LCQ when you're already locked in. Like I said, right now it's Keegan Ellsworth who's up into 10th position. He was 12th. He gets by Elefante. Now Ellsworth is up into 10th. He would have been 12th position.
Yeah, trying to fight it the best that he can to be able to keep himself ahead. We follow the battle right now for P2. Rodolfo Levine and Lewis Dilly fighting it out. Troy Ferguson looking in the background. Mason Moses setting the fastest lap of the race with a 43.344, 3 minutes and 15 seconds plus 2 laps left. Kason Hodge dominant at the front of this field.
Yeah, another driver moving into 10th. The bubble now, the 808 of Achilles Sapirko. Sapirko for Speed Concepts Racing now up into 10th spot. Dos Santos out to 11th. Bristol Borman runs 12th. Elefante now down into 13th. Angelo Atkins now runs in the 14th spot. Declan DeHonry back up to 15th. So those are the drivers right on the bubble to potentially work their way back in here.
Yeah, trying to be able to fight their way ahead. Although this battle for P2 is still a little feisty there. Troy Ferguson really close behind, trying to close in a little bit more. That's allowing for Mason Moses to start to close in. Let's see here. And there you see it's now really a 5-car train. Moses starting to close in, and Paramo in that involved as well.
Indeed. Again, looking at the lap time that we have kind of left, 2 minutes and 22 seconds still. So look at about 2 to 3 laps. More contact there. Somebody chopped across the bow. Again, these are the drivers up front. Look at them beating and banging on each other still. Is there damage? I think the 842, is that an 842 or 843?
And 843, that's Troy Ferguson.
Troy Ferguson with damage. Contact coming through. Turn number 10, 11, and 12. DJ again. They overcook it, overdrive it. and they're already locked into the main event.
And so you were talking about it, that for those drivers, you are sitting there in what will ostensibly be 33rd, 34th for the race tomorrow, and just threw it away, and now it looks like they're not going to make it.
Troy Ferguson all the way back to 9th, so he is still in the show, but is there damage to that number 8, 43? Man, I'll tell you, just hold the spots. And none of this would have happened with the guys up front that they just held their positions and ran nose to tail. It's all you have to do in an LCQ. But listen, it's a benefactor for us because we want to see these guys battling it out. The excitement level, obviously, still up there.
All right, Levin, Mason Moses is the big beneficiary of all of that. Paramo, Scott, Dilly, Tufford, Ellsworth, Sapirko, and Bristol Bornmarn. Now that is going to bump Ferguson out of it. He is out of that top 10. He runs in 11th currently.
Yeah, Troy Ferguson, 11th position. Bristol Borman up a couple of spots. Started 12th up to the 10th position. Big movers, of course. 10 position improvement for Achilles Sapirko. Started in 19th, up into 9th. I love it. In the show right now for Sunday.
Yeah, big move for the 808. Now this is the train for P2 right now. Rodolfo Levin just holding off. And wow, we haven't seen that today. Big move to the inside for Mason Moses.
And indeed, watch out here for Levin.
Oh.
Got to hold on. Like, just don't make a mistake and get in the wall here right now. You're still well into the show. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You can finish 9th. You can finish 10th. I know Ricky Bobby said you're either first or last, but the bottom line is you could be 10th in this one and still race on Sunday.
Exactly, and that's what we still want to see from these drivers. Good heads up there from him, and now look at the breakaway. Mason Moses in that predominantly black car, but we've got a little bit of a moon. Juan Paramo trying to make a pass down into turn 10.
It's like they don't know where they're running on the racetrack. That's the thing to me. You kind of get a feel for up front that you're running 4th or 5th, you're fine. Right now, Achilles Sapirko back into 10th. Bristol Borman able to get by. So Sapirko, the driver on the bubble. Jackson Elefante back by 0.8 of a second. So Sapirko looking pretty good here right now, running in that 10th position.
Just has to hold on to that as they continue to run here. The battle for P2 continues to fire off. Excuse me, this is the battle for P4. Rodolfo Levin trying to hold off an attack here from Tyron Scott now. Looking to see if Scott can get the run coming down through turn 9. Very defensive line for Rodolfo Levin as he's going to try to hold that out. Not able to get it to play. They'll be in single file order when they come through Switchback City.
Man, I'll tell you. White flag flying this time by Kason Hodge. The Speed Sense Motorsports car long gone, has the thing locked and loaded. We're not done for the final bubble because these guys have decided to race all the way through. Achilles Sapirko, 7/10 in front of Jackson Elefante as well. And still 11th isn't the worst thing. If we do have a DQ or somebody doesn't make weight or a penalty, you may be able to get your way in. Because one of the things you'll see in these races is pushback penalties. Everybody's so aggressive trying to find a spot. We got to wait till the pushbacks to come. So unofficially is what you're going to hear, folks, when we wrap things up. Final lap on the racetrack. Hodge way out front, almost 5 seconds. But look at these drivers here. The very final circuit trying to bring it home right now.
And there it is for Levin. I think he's going to be able to hold it off. Kason Hodge crosses the line. Mason Moses, Juan Paramo, a drag race to it for P4. Levin's going to hold off by a mere 15 thousandths of a second over Keegan Ellsworth. Tyron Scott, Lewis Dilly, Bristol Bornman, James Tufford, and Achilles Sapirko, your 10 that advance.
Man, Sapirko, the final driver to unofficially transfer through. Those are the drivers right there that you're going to see tomorrow unofficially. Again, pushback bumpers, tech, whatever it may be. But Kason Hodge with the win. Mason Moses second. Third goes to Juan Paramo. Fourth, Rodolfo Levin. Then we'll have Keegan Ellsworth in fifth, Tyron Scott, sixth, Lewis Dilly, seventh, Bristol Borman. Great job for Bristol, plus 12 to get in the show. Awesome drive. James Tuford in ninth spot, and Spirico plus 19. Plus 9. Started 19th, finished 10th over that course to get into the show. Well done for Sapirko. Go into the show on Sunday.
That is what you run these LCQ for. Is absolutely remarkable. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break away from you here, pay a few bills, make sure we are all caught up and not in debt, and then we're going to come back to you for the VLR Senior LCQ.
Cup USA, featuring racing from coast to coast. Fast, friendly, and fun. Come join us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
High-end floors for high-end lifestyles. At TSG 5-Star, we connect the most respected hardwood, laminate, and vinyl flooring brands with the designers of showrooms who create unforgettable spaces. TSG 5-Star, your source for premium flooring and exceptional service.
Every great race starts with preparation. Every great plan starts with purpose. Daisa Alvarez, financial representative. Proud sponsor of Nicholas Bazzani.
Four drivers, 12 turns, 1 goal. This is Power Drive Vegas.
All right, well, the 33rd driver is most famous at Indianapolis, and at Vegas it's the 40th. Let's talk to him right now. Achilles Spirico, talk to me about that run, bud.
I felt like at the start I got a really good jump, and I felt like later I got passed by Bristol, and I was kind of battling, but then they pulled away a little bit.
Your first net year running at the national level and at the junior level, what does it mean for you to be able to make the big show tomorrow?
It means a lot. I really want to try my best tomorrow, and I think I'm going to do good.
Congratulations, Achilles. That's your P40 starter who will make the show alongside the other 10, and it's time for us to determine who's going to make the show for the seniors. Guys?
Who's cutting onions in here? My God, I love it. That's the kid you want to make it too, right?
Exactly.
That's the kid that you want to see. Achilles, the one you want to see with that kind of interview, you want to see make his way in. That's amazing stuff. 22 in that race, folks. 31 in this one. Caden O'Connor, Dylan Dransfield on the front row. Ethan Williams and Ibrahim Dean on row 2. Ben Gaunt, Jamison Gwinnett on row 3. We'll try to give you more of them. But this is it, the LCQ. For the drivers in VLR Senior, only 10 to transfer. They are clean through turn number 1. 5 could be a little bit different. Through 1 and 2 is clean. 5 is good. Out of the gate nicely into turn number 6. Crossover to turn number 7. The big sweeper to 8. Good job looking to the inside for Caden O'Connor there. Am I clean to the inside? I am. Let's get through here through 9. Awesome start right there for Caden O'Connor.
And I love what I'm seeing here from P2 on back. You saw the tap of the helmet, recognizing Caden's got that gap out front, saying, no, let's close this up. Let's keep going here a little bit. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship there, but again, we don't want to see what happened in the last race with drivers running into each other if you are in those guaranteed transfer positions.
We're looking at 14 laps here, right? 12 to 14 laps. The bottom line is this. If you let the field stretch out for 2 or 3 laps, you exponentially give yourself a chance to be in that top 10. There's 31 in the field. They're going to stretch out. Give them a chance to stretch out. Don't make any mistakes early on.
Exactly. I think Jackson Lambros has got a quick update for us.
Let's talk about our bubble driver really quickly. Josh Leslie, his first ever year in a go-kart, albeit running at a national level, being thrown in at the deep end. Found out he was really fast indoors at K1, took a shot at ROK Sonoma, And a couple months later, he got himself a free ticket out here to Vegas. Not where he wants to be quite on track right now, DJ, but if he's able to gain just a handful of positions, man, what a story it would be for this kid to make his first ever ROK Vegas.
Well, he's not having the best run of it here. He's fallen down to 14th, but we'll keep an eye on Josh, and hopefully he'll be able to move his way back up through the order. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it is Ben Gaunt that is closing in on Caden O'Connor, so that has worked for him. Ibrahim Dean and Dylan Dransfeld in third and fourth. Those are your top four. Breakaway also with Ethan Williams. Mini breakaway. Eden Shimbashi's keeping it close.
If Jamison Gwinnett in the 971 is actually your 10th place driver right now, he is the one on the bubble. He's got 0.2 of a second on Ian Kim. So we need Gwinnett right now, the bubble driver, but we're very, very early into this one. Let it settle down a bit as Caden O'Connor and Ben Gaunt trying to pull away early. Again, if you're in the top four, top five, I reiterated it, obviously in the heat race or the last chance qualifier for juniors, just stay where you are. You've got the pace, pull away. If you finish second or you finish fourth, there's absolutely no difference. Did someone just fail? Whoever was second there, Ben Gaunt just fell away.
Yeah, he did. I'm not sure what happened.
Mechanical potential or something. He just went backwards.
He's still running second, I think, but he definitely fell back in pace.
Not sure what that was. He was super slow coming out of turn number 5. But nonetheless, if you're in the top 4, top 5, just hang out for gosh sake. Let the cart work, pull away. If you do the job right, you're going to be long gone. With a yellow flag flying over there in turn number 10 and 11. I'm not quite sure what that was for at that point, but again, early on, drivers settling in, 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly where you want to be. Let's have a look at the bubble coming across the line. Still Jamison Gwinnett. Dylan Dransfeld had some trouble. He went backwards. Nicholas Bazzani, though, is up a bunch of spots. Started 21st. He's up 9. Bazzani into 12th. So he's in the position to maybe challenge here in a bit.
Yeah, and those are the drivers you want to keep an eye on, the ones that have that momentum charging up through the field. If they're able to keep that going, they're going to be in good position to advance on forward. Holding position here for the rest of these drivers. I like what I'm seeing there from them. We're not seeing that aggressiveness. We're not seeing that crazy dive bombs that we saw in the junior category. This is much more calm, cool, and collected up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, so much so. You can see the top guys there. And again, that's almost the top 10 kind of running together there across the line. I'm trying to think where the first big gap is, if you see where it is scrolling back. And indeed, it's 11th. Yeah, Jamison Gwinnett has 1.1 second on Dylan Dransfeld. So right now, Dransfeld. So really, top 10 drivers are already locked and loaded if they don't mess it up. So stay where you are right now, hold your position, and get this thing through to the end.
Ethan Williams able to send a move on Ben Gaunt. I also think Joseph Nalzi set one in Nathan Dupuis. That was side-by-side for them. Amazing work by the ROK Cup officials. Somebody off into the barriers into turn 10. You can see that cart there to the inside getting care of that. So now let's keep on right here. Ben Gaunt in that red helmet trying to close in on Ethan Williams. Trying to keep from behind as well as Joseph Nalzeni and Ibrahim Dean closing in as well.
Dransfeld got about a 1/10 of a second on Gwinnett there, now back by just a full second. So Dransfeld's got to keep digging. He's got a second on David Morales as well. So Dylan Dransfeld's kind of in his court right now. If he can find the pace to close up on Jamison Gwinnett, we may get a battle. He was over a 1/10 of a second quicker that last time. He's not going to get the 10 laps that he needs at a 1/10 of a second a lap. He's going to have to dig a lot deeper. Dylan Dransfeld going to find some speed here if he wants to get to P10.
Yeah, he's really got to get up on the wheel if he wants to do anything. Now we've got a battle here. The top 3, let's call it, on a nice little breakaway. Williams gone, and Nalzeni trying to see if they can get anything. Dropping Ibrahim Dean just a little bit, and this is just allowing Caden O'Connor to run away at the front of the field. We're seeing very similar to what we saw in the last race. It is almost the same story, that the leader is just able to dominate at the front of this field, and the battle is from second on back.
Yeah, exactly that. And listen, when the leader gets just enough of a gap, the guy in second, especially in an LCQ, he's not worried about the win anymore.
Right.
He's worried about holding on to the position he has. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to catch this guy, or I could. I don't want to get in the wall. The last thing I want to do, though, is start losing a bunch of positions. So you start more thinking about running in that P2 position. That's where Ethan Williams is right now. He's doing whatever he can to dig in that Formula Works DFC.
Yeah, just see what he can do. So now they run down through turn 5. Again, I'm really impressed here with these seniors. The age and maturity from these drivers is showing out. This is dare I say it, for all intents and purposes, a boring race, what we're seeing, but that's the kind of heads-up driving you need to have in an LCQ.
Yeah, stark contrast to what we saw in the juniors, where we saw a mistake early on by Mendez, who drove over top of the guy in front of him in turn number 2. We had a couple other drivers fighting a little too hard for position and going backwards. These guys get it. Hey, listen, we're in the top 5 right now. It's all we need. Doesn't matter if I start 32nd or 36th. Just keep digging, then I'll go to work in the main event. I want to make the show a big field of drivers, as we know in the program here this weekend. All told, I think 61 drivers in the category in the VLR Senior class. So good field for sure. 61 drivers in a category to try to make the 40 kart main. All these drivers right now here in this front running section, 5-6 drivers. Very impressive. Now, if you're a little bit further back, right now, Gwynep's been able to go by Aiden Shimbashi. So Shimbashi now is in the bubble spot, but Dransfield is closed up with 0.2 of a second. So we're not done at all. Good job for Jameson Gwynep to get to 9th. You're different when you're in the 10th position.
Yep.
Listen, you can get aggressive. You want somebody between you and the bubble spot.
Yeah, you want to hold that position as much as possible. Make sure that nothing happens there. Also saw Camden Romani able to get a pass done on Ibrahim Dean, so that's going to move them around. That is for 5th position. Shimbashi still holds on to that 10th spot here. The gap back to them, to Dylan Dransfeld, looks like it's holding at the moment. It is not much, though. It's less than a 10th.
Yeah, driver on the bubble right now, the number 972 of Aiden Shimbashi. We are going to see, I believe, the 2 to go sign here momentarily. I don't know whether or not they'll sneak through just enough to get one more lap and see whether or not the timing is going to be. No, there it is right
2.
there. So 2 laps to go. Shimbashi in the 972. Is he racing on Sunday? Who's going home? Nathan Dupuis now runs in the 9th spot as Gwynep gets another spot. Dupuis runs in 9th. Shimbashi 10th. Dransfeld is now 1.3 back. So Dransfeld a little farther back than I thought. I'm going to pick this up here. No, I think Dransfeld,
he's within
he's
the 10th.
right there.
Yeah, he's right there.
So Dransfeld in the 922. Shimbashi in the 972. That's the bubble here with 2 to go. White flag will fly next time by. O'Connor leads.
Joseph Nazalny was able to get by Ben Gaunt, so now Nazalny trying to be able to get a move on Ethan Williams. This is the battle for P2. We'll keep you abreast of what happens back for P10. They cross over the line with the white flag. This might have disaster written all over it in a couple of languages.
The minute we go defensive, we're going to bring people back in the show. Dylan Dransfeld across the line. He's got by Shimbashi. So Dransfeld onto the bubble. He's in the show. But listen, we're not done here. All it takes is one of these drivers to make a mistake and stick it in the wall. Here's a move down the inside. We're going to make a pass up front for Ethan Williams. They're working their way through here now. Williams goes to the lead. Oh, this is not done yet. This has got disaster written all over it.
Oh, dear. They're going to try to hold it off. It's Nazalny and Williams trying to sort themselves out for P2. Caden O'Connor is so checked out, he doesn't even have to worry about it. He's going to cross over the line to take victory here in the LCQ. But now as they cross, did something happen to Caden O'Connor? He just showed on our screens is coming home in 2nd. That's not going to affect the order. Ethan Williams shown as the leader. Then Caden O'Connor, Ben Gaunt, and Nazalny, your top 4.
Yeah, Camden Romanis ends up in 5th. Abraham Din in 6th. Ian Kim 7th. Jameson Gwynep up 2 spots there at the end to solidify his position on Sunday. Nathan Dupuis 9th. And Dylan Dransfeld in, I think, a penultimate lap pass on Aiden Shimbashi. Dransfeld makes his way into the final transfer spot. He will race on Sunday. Of course, these are unofficial. Aiden Shimbashi in the 11th spot would be the next person to move in. Pushback bumpers, weight, DQs, you name it. It's still unofficial, but Dylan Dransfeld races his way in, a pass on the penultimate lap to keep his dream alive.
Really, really impressive. And also what I want to point out here from Dylan Dransfeld, a lot of speed in that kart. 0.54 back from Nathan Dupuis, but look at this. He got almost 0.2 on Aiden Shimbashi. Very, very impressive. All right, we are going to go down to the grid because Jackson Lambros has been able to catch up with the drivers that are going to be racing tomorrow.
But I was going to interview some of these drivers, but it looks like half of them immediately ran out of the scale line like a bat out of hell. I was trying to figure out what was going on, and then I realized, oh yeah, half of these guys are also running SV Pro. So hopefully my P10 driver is in here somewhere. Hopefully when I find him, I can get him for you guys.
Well, sometimes the best laid plans all go to naught, but appreciate the hustle there from Jackson. And again, goes back to what we were saying earlier about just the insanity of some of these drivers, that they are able to run 2 and sometimes even 3 series over the course of this weekend.
Back to back. That's the crazy thing right now. Guys going back to back in VLR, obviously with the setup and moving the LCQs down a little further in the order. SV Pro coming up next. One more race still to go. We'll give those guys a chance to get themselves up there. But again, little break here before we roll things in for SV Pro.
Yeah, it'll be a nice little palate cleanser because I think that was a relatively calm, cool, and collected race. SV Pro probably not going to be the same thing.
I think drivers still trying to put their stamp on this category. This is what I've got. I've dialed things in. I know it's a bit cooler. You're going to watch me come to the front here.
Yeah, and again, this is going to be one of those point situations that will set the field for yesterday, so we are going to see some drivers being a little bit more aggressive and trying to get their way forward if they can. But all in all told, it will be very fascinating. All right, Jackson's been able to catch up with a few drivers. We go down to him now.
Dylan Dransfeld for NRC, able to fight his way into the top 10. It was a melee out there, my friend. Talk to me about that LCQ.
Yeah, I just went around the turn, and one of the track officials, I don't know what happened, was just on the ground, and I could have really hurt him, and so I got to push back and got sent back to 10th place. I was counting all the spots in front of me, and I realized I can still do this, and so I just kept on pushing, but pretty sure my front end's damaged.
Ran all the way to turn 13. Hopefully I'll get an answer for you guys on that for a second. But Dylan, still to be able to get this move and fight your way into the show, how much of a breath of fresh air is that for you?
That's a relief, honestly, because after I hit him, I was so scared. As soon as I saw people passing by me, I was like, oh gosh, I might not make it out of, I might not make it in the top 10 as I was starting in second. Then finally, I realized I can still do this, and so I kept pushing.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
SV Pro coming up. Still a couple loose ends I got to figure out here, though, guys.
All right, so that may be a little bit of that unofficial there. It sounds like Dylan's pretty convinced that he had a pushback bumper.
Well, again, depending on how the pushback was, you can ask for it to be reviewed. Right. That's the one thing. If you bring your video and it wasn't, he said something about a ROK Cup corner worker going
being
down.
On the ground, and he had to check up on him. And
I'd like to know what happened there. That's we didn't obviously see that on the racetrack, so not exactly sure what happened there. But nonetheless, again, there's so many things that still have to happen before the end. Everything we tell you is, of course, unofficial in those LCQs. But we can talk about the grid right now as we get set to go. A massive field of drivers in this SV Pro categories. They rolled out onto the racetrack right now. Caden McQueen going to start in the pole position in the Velocity Racing Sodi machine. It'll be Jake Drew alongside him in the Formula Works GFC. Road to left, Turner Brown in the Cosmic for Rawlson Performance Group alongside Fast Frankie Mossman for Speed Concepts Racing in the number 310. Gianluca Savaglio out of Canada for Racing Edge Motorsports, starting in 5th alongside Diego Ramos for PSL Karting. Alexander Vanchev and Gianmatteo Rosso will be on row number 4. We'll have Blake Nash alongside Chase Hand on row 5. Jesus Vasquez Jr. and Dean Peterson back here in the U.S. on row 6. Paulie Massimino and William Boutillier will be on row number 7. Keegan Kaminsky and Austin Elliott on row number 8. Elliott, fantastic run in that third heat race, able to get by the chaos, ran the rim around the outside to everybody. It's been 10 years since Austin Elliott's run in a major national event like this. He owns and runs Speed Sense Motorsports, a driver coach, but awesome to see him behind the wheel here in SV Pro, running up there with the big dogs. Row 9, Victor de Alencar alongside Alessandro De Tullio. And talk about a big dog, Ryan Norberg starting 19th, working as hard as he can to dial things in on that GFC. He'll start 19th alongside Marcella Tortado. There's your top 20 drivers. They're going to work their way out of turn number 13. DJ, the final race of the day. From here we go to Sunday, we go to the main events, but one more to go. Heat race 4 for SV Pro.
And it's Caden McQueen who gets a good start. Jake Drew with that immediate chop up, but it looks like there's going to be a little bit of Cummings together as they try to sort themselves out. Turner Brown may have been able to get the run, as there you see the whole fleet of these SV Pro carts working their way on through. Turner Brown indeed up into second. I think Jake Drew may have lost out in maybe another position there to potentially Frankie Mossman, and there it is coming down into the corner. We've already got action into 8.
Yeah, big move there for Fast Frankie Mossman, moving to the inside of Savaglio. They'll get themselves into turn number 8. He wanted that spot. He'll already throw it to the bottom of the racetrack to try to defend that position, lock it down, coming through turn 10, 11, and 12. That inside move stacks everybody up behind him. So a bit of a 3-driver breakaway up front as they come across the line for the first time. McQueen, Drew, and young rookie senior Turner Brown, but Mossman right there with Savaglio behind him to put lap number 1 in the books.
Yeah, and this breakaway for McQueen, Drew, and Brown going to be very, very important to try to see if they can just work together, not fight, and keep themselves ahead. But with fast Frankie Mossman behind him, that is going to be a tall, tall order. Savaglio going to try to put some pressure there as well as they come down through turn 9 right now. Looks like a 2-kart breakaway, a little bit for Mossman and Savaglio. Let's see if that holds out.
Oh, big defense further back. You saw that coming in on turn number 9 as well. But let's flip the switch on the mindset, right? We're not back in that LCQ mindset, and the driver's gone around. One of the GFC cars, the 334, has gone around. That's Keegan Kaminsky. 4 drivers involved in this one here. No one happy at all. A couple of GFCs as well. Kaminsky trying to pull away. Looks like everybody's going to be able to refire these engines and pull away, but that is disastrous here in heat race number 4. The last thing you want to have happen again on a day where you could make moves coming forward, you end up going in the other direction.
Yeah, and that's going to put you in a rough position for tomorrow. Obviously, you're still going to be able to bank on some of the results that you had previously in the day, but not going to be all the way up forward. I think Jake Drew may have just sent a move there on Caden McQueen.
Just throwing the guys out. Victor de Alencar, Marcelo Tortado, Keegan Kaminsky, and Ryan Norberg involved in that incident over in turn number 11. Wow, Norberg, no luck for this year's ROK Vegas. He'll be deep in the field for the main event tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of work to do. Jake Drew, though, has back up to the point that he was in dominant form yesterday. That is the point of the field. Caden McQueen trying to close in on him. Mossman and Savaglio have been able to close that gap, so it really is a 5-car breakaway. I'm not even going to call it a breakaway, as Ramos and Vanchev are very, very close. Call it up to the top 10. Are still pretty close to each other here.
Yeah, indeed. The train up front, I would agree with you. Like, oh, looks like a... No, it doesn't look like a 5-car. A couple more drivers together. There's a Speed Sense Motorsports driver, and that, I believe, is coming into turn number 7. Out of 6, over to 7. That was the incident there. They'll have a yellow flag very likely over there as the crew, no doubt, working to get those carts moved onto the other side of the barriers. Yeah, there they are there. Good job from that crew. Not sure that may have been Austin Elliott. No, not quite sure. You see the field now streaming its way through turn number 6, then over to turn number 7. So indeed, Elliott's still on the racetrack. We'll find out who that is.
I think it was the 380.
The 380 would be, Lewis Hodgson. There you go, Speed Sense Motorsports. Great pickup there, DJ. Indeed, a couple of drivers having more issues. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. That top 5 looked like it might have been a top 5, and all of a sudden, everybody coming right back into the hunt. As you said, more of a top 10 run right now, because you're going to go back to, I think, a little further back. What's the biggest gap? Probably back to Blake Nash.
Yeah, Blake Nash a little bit farther back, but now as they go here, it looks like we've got an update here from Jackson Lambros down in pit lane.
We heard it earlier, guys, about that scary incident with one of our track marshals. That was Jason Brown. And while he's not been checked down by EMS just yet by on-site medical, I'm looking at him still standing and watching guys here on the inside of turn 5. So it looks like for the time being, he is okay, guys, but definitely a scary sight there in our LCQ for our VLR seniors.
All right. Good to hear there from that. We've also going to take a look back at the replay here of exactly what happened. Going to try to diagnose one of these incidents that we saw coming at us here a little bit earlier. Rob, what do you see?
Well, there's how it plays out. Yeah, in the back there, you see the drivers are transitioning through 10 to 11. And I believe that was probably de Alencar, Victor de Alencar, I think, probably getting into the back of Keegan Kaminsky. And again, the tight confines of a track like this. The track's significantly wide around. We talked about the high corner speeds, but through that 10, 11, 12 combination, it's a real big switchback. Keegan Kaminsky had it rotated. Alencar got the nose on the right rear. And at that point, you're just along for the ride. He powered him through, and in the end, the guys coming behind them had to stack it up. And luckily, it wasn't more than just 4 drivers, to be honest, as they all powered through that very tight corner. Look at Turner Brown going to work here now. Big move to the inside. How about Jake Drew? Taking full advantage of that. Drew goes to the lead. Brown holds on to second. Put McQueen back to third.
And that's a little bit of payback, because that Drew had a little bit of a train run on him earlier in the race, in that when Caden McQueen when Turner Brown sent a move on him, Caden McQueen snuck up to the inside as well. And so Drew getting payback here to get back up into the lead. Good heads up there from driver of the 329.
That contact has brought Mossman back into the fight. Ramos, Savaglio, Vasquez, Vanchev. You see all of them right there tightening back up what I believe looks like potentially maybe 8 cars, maybe 7 in that lead group. Yeah,
It's 7. It's down to Vasquez.
7. Yeah, call it 7. Because Vasquez has got Giammatteo Rosso about 2 seconds behind him.
Yep. All right, so that's what the breakaway is right here. Now, Caden McQueen is trying to fight off. Turner Brown has lost a position here to Frankie Mossman. That's not a good thing if you are the drivers up in front to see Frankie Mossman behind you. But Turner trying to hold off an attack here from Ramos and Savaglio as they come down through 9.
Yeah, good stuff here. We're closing in on the last handful of laps here on the day and in the SV Pro Heat Race number 4. When this is done and dusted, all we got is main events for you tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic Sunday. It's going to be a gorgeous day here in Las Vegas as well. Temperatures in the low 80s, sun, the Las Vegas Strip as our backdrop. It's going to be a fantastic day to see who comes out, but there's contact there. That's Caden McQueen. McQueen from P2, contacting to turn number 5, around he goes.
We'll see if we can get a replay pulled up on that in a little bit to break down exactly what happened, because I think I blinked and I missed it.
It happens, exactly that. It looked to me like he was rotating into the corner, maybe some contact, but around he went. Maybe it may have tried to go to the inside and got pinched. We will get a good look at that, but right now, what does that mean? It means we have changed things up front. Drew, Mossman, 1-2. Turner Brown now having to battle with Ramos and Savaglio. A lot of stuff going on right now. Ramos has worked his way in to the 3rd position. Good run for him. He is plus 3, started 6th up into P3.
Yeah, it's a good run for Ramos. A little bit of side-by-side there, and that's going to be Vasquez Jr. putting Turner Brown in another position. Brown going the wrong way here at this point in the race. The 386 just dropping positions.
Diego Ramos pushing forward, got to 3rd. You saw him kind of coming through with Mossman. Turner Brown trying to hold on there. He's lost a spot as well. Jesus Vasquez Jr. has got by. Brown in the RPG Cosmic Machine. Now they're running in the 5th spot. Savaglio there as well. Big movers from further back. How about plus 22 for Caleb Gaffera in the Host Driver Development Machine? Started 40th. He is up into 18th. Caleb Gaffera has not had a great weekend so far, but he is an absolute rocket trying to recover here in heat race number 4.
All right, let's take a look at that replay and find out exactly what happened to Caden McQueen here, Rob.
Coming out of turn number 4, he makes a move to the inside and climbs over the right rear rather of Jake Drew. Hey, listen, that happens. You're throwing the car in. It's already starting to rotate. That hole all of a sudden vanishes.
Yeah.
and that left front is going to roll up over top of the rear. Luckily not for Drew. Luckily not to climb over top of him. Instead, the car just rotated a minute as soon as that front wheel came off the ground.
Yeah, 2 laps to go here for our leaders already. Blink and you miss in these races. They're that exciting. And for Jake Drew, he is trying to do what he did twice yesterday, and that is take the win. Frankie Mossman trying to deny it. A little bit of a pass there farther back in the pack.
So what does that do to McQueen, right? He's back at 18th, able to continue on, no damage, so he's going to try to get a couple spots here. But this is huge for Drew up front, knowing that McQueen, who was a winner on one of the heat races, is now going to slap an 18th on his point total. It's going to open things up for Drew to lock down the pole position for the main event tomorrow afternoon. The headline show, the SV Pro category. White flag flying this time by for Jake Drew.
0.4 of a second the gap for Drew over Mossman. The battle farther back in the field. Rousseau trying to get a move on Vasquez here as they now flick their way into turn 5. Not seeing anything play out for them as the rest of the field streams their way into turn 2.
Last lap of the day here on a Saturday at the Rio Hotel, Las Vegas. ROK Vegas going to cap off its 4th day of action. One more set to go. Final couple of corners here for Jake Drew in the ROK SV Pro category, heat race number 4. Jake Drew has been the man to beat all weekend long. Battled with Caden McQueen, as we know, but he'll bag another victory. Very likely the pole position. A win goes to the shoe. Jake Drew winning heat race number 4 over Mossman, Ramos, Vasquez, and Rousseau.
Very good running there for Jake Drew, and unlike yesterday, had to face some adversity, really had to fight for that victory. That's an incredible run for him. Look at this, up into P9, Paulie Massimino, really good run for him. Same with Alessandro Di Tullio, up into the top 10. That'll certainly bolster his points a little bit, and we'll have to see if ADT is able to get a good run further on. Blake Nash, another big riser through the field.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a couple of names out here. Plus 18 for William Boutillier, plus 8 for Massimo Valiante, plus 22 for Caleb Gaffera, the biggest mover, 40th on the grid. He ends up 18th, crosses the line right behind Caden McQueen. Not sure how much that's going to help Caleb tomorrow. It's not been a fantastic day for him, but the bottom line is we wrap up a wild day. So many drivers up front. The cream rose to the top, as we know. number of drivers arrived on the scene, though, having been able to find some speed throughout the weekend to put maybe a couple more names in our discussion for tomorrow's main events. It's going to be a fantastic day tomorrow, no doubt.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We'll be coming at you bright and early tomorrow morning. Around 10 o'clock, I believe, is when we do fire off, run until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All feature races tomorrow, including everything that you saw today from shifters to VLR to the SV Pro category. It's going to be a great, great day of racing action. I cannot wait. It's all been leading to this for ROK Vegas. But on behalf of Rob Haddon and Jackson Lambros, my name is DJ Clark. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We will see you back at ROK Vegas tomorrow.
Joined now by your pre-final winner here, Jake Drew. And Jake, obviously not the way you wanted that battle to end with Caden, but talk to me about your side of that.
Yeah, I mean, not the way I wanted it to go for sure. We've been showing each other a lot of respect all week. I've already talked to him here, and none of it was intentional. I didn't even see that he was there. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too bad, and we can all have a nice final. But we made some adjustments there, and I felt really strong, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow and having a good final.
Still a breath of fresh air, I'd imagine, to have 49 carts behind you come tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. The GFC Formula Works package has been strong the whole time, and really looking to finish the job tomorrow.
We appreciate it. Let's see if we can grab Frankie Mossman here really quickly. You're a P2 driver who battled his way up to the front. Frankie, my friend, you fought your way to the front. Talk to me about that pre-final on your end.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just sat there and watched most of it. I felt like we were pretty good. You know, that I think that's the most competitive we've been in these conditions, and the team's been working really hard, and I think we've gotten pretty close. You know, we stayed really consistent. I did a bad job in qualifying, threw away most of my laps, and so for us to have a solid 4 heats is not normally how it goes when you have a bad qualifying in Vegas. So, you know, the package has been good, the cart's been good, the team's been good, and we're just gonna push and see where we end up in the final tomorrow.
So at this point, with your comfort for the cart, is making changes to your setup even a forethought, or at this point, is it just a new set of Levantos that's going to be your changes tomorrow?
I think we're going to take another swing at it, you know. I feel like we're just lacking that last little bit to be competitive and put the pressure on the guys a little bit more. You know, we're just kind of sitting there staying even with the top 3. You know, so more than putting on a new set of Levantos, I guess, I think we're going to be making some changes tonight.
We appreciate it, Frankie. Let's see if we can grab Diego Ramos here really quickly. Come on over, my friend. Actually, don't think we have time for that right now. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to send it back over to DJ.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jackson. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here today. And once again, on behalf of the whole crew and the guys behind the scenes who are working their backsides off, this is really and truly one of the best teams in karting that you will ever find. We thank you so much for joining us. We will see you back here tomorrow morning.